Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Big Brother Canada 8 simulation podcast. This is the podcast where everything is a simulation and your life is a lie. And I'm your host, Taryn Armstrong, and with me today is Melissa. How you doing, Melissa?
I am doing great. As you guys can probably see, this is a new location. Ooh la la. We got a puppy this weekend, and so I'm trying to set up shop somewhere else where the puppy is not. And this was the location of choice for now. So we're testing this out, but hopefully this works out.
Yes, also joining us tonight is Brent. How you doing, Brent?
I don't have anything or any reason to say ooh la la, but hello, ooh la la.
I don't know if this is a reason to say ooh la la, but
here's a reason to say ooh la la. With us tonight, a very special guest. We have Mike Bloom with us. Ooh la la. How you doing, Mike Bloom?
Bloom la la. I am fantastic. I'm so glad it took a worldwide pandemic and a cancellation of a season to finally get me on an LFC podcast, albeit some very weird circumstances. I tried to celebrate the occasion by putting in like my own little background BB Can style, but when I did, now I look like a ghost. So I'm going to try to not become the invisible man in the HOH room and serve as too distracting, because we have a lot more nonsense to get into this than just me becoming transparent in the HOH room.
I mean, looking like a ghost is appropriate for this ghost of a season at this point, right? Like,
the coloring matched up so perfectly, it literally looked like you were shirtless.
Well, don't give the internet any ideas, Melissa.
It was great.
We are here tonight because Big Brother Canada 8 was canceled. The season is over. It's no more. It ended in week 3 or whatever. There was one person evicted. And so what we are going to do tonight is we are going to use a website called Brantsteele that you can use to simulate seasons of Big Brother, Survivor, and other shows. We're going to use this site. We're going to put in, we've put in the data from the players and the relationships and the alliances, and we're going to use it to determine for sure what definitely would have happened if the season was not canceled. We're reaching into the matrix and we're pulling out real facts. Isn't that right, Mike?
Yeah, so this is something that I have had the fortunate opportunity to work on for many podcasts over the past couple of years. I think somebody actually called me the Brantsteele King on Twitter a couple days ago, which I take as both like a compliment and simultaneously like, if my specialization is living in fiction, I don't know what that says about my reality, but I'll take it to heart. So this is something that Rob Cesarino and I stumbled upon doing as a podcast idea a couple of years ago, and we've done it a whole bunch. Basically, what you need to know about Brantsteele is that it's essentially if Vanessa from BB Can 8 was a website, in that just craziness is abound. Things can just change at a moment's notice. Now, that being said, the software has upgraded to a capability where you can enter certain attributes and relationships and alliances, and we'll certainly get into that, because given the fact that we are not entering this season new, we can still benefit from putting on that information. But Brantsteele just likes to do Brantsteele sometimes, and it's going to be our job to sort of spin a narrative as to what the heck is going to happen over the next 8 or so weeks that should have followed. So yeah, we've done this a bunch for Survivor. We've done it, I think, once for Big Brother. Rob and I did one for the end of the year where Lizzo soundly defeated Keanu Reeves. So if that is any indicator as to where things are going to go tonight, I don't know. This might be Nico versus Carol in the final two, for all I know, with the way Brantsteele does things. So I'm here for it. I'm here for the craziness.
For the record, both Nico and Carol are not going to be included. But for all we know, maybe they're brought back. I don't know. So yes, that's what we will be doing here tonight on the Brantsteele. And yes, we will talk about the profiles and the relationships. But it should be pointed out that they don't really matter a whole lot. Like Mike said, like you might be like, well, this is invalid because I disagree with the profile of this player, but it doesn't matter. It's random anyway. So take it with a grain of salt. All right.
But I think we should also establish here that this is going to be canonized by the Big Brother internet. I think, like, let's get it posted on Jokers. Let's have all the major update accounts post at the end of this. Like, congrats to so-and-so, the winner of Big Brother Canada 8. I think this should be considered official stuff. Let's pull some strings at the Big Brother wiki to have this information written in. Like, let's chisel this into stone, people, and have this be the new, like, Mesopotamia cradle of civilization of what Big Brother Canada 8 was supposed to be. That's my proposition, at least.
I felt it was important to get this out before the finale because I know that they've talked about, like, what are we going to do with the prize money? And I think it's pretty clear that they should give it to the winner of this simulation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you are watching along at home, then you can follow visually because I will put this up on the screen. If not, don't worry. We will explain, with words what's happening.
Oh, with words,
With
huh?
words.
Wow.
You picked the wrong people to do that, Taryn.
All right, so here we are. This is the Brantsteele site, and this is our cast. It's 11 people. It's minus Carol. Carol, it does not exist in this because she was going to quit anyway. I feel whether or
Au
not.
contraire.
I think
say.
It's a statement.
I mean, it's nice though because Carol said that the live feeds are produced, and essentially we're producing the rest of the season. So I think we're just feeding that narrative.
Yes, yes. Quitting is also enabled.
Good. Yeah, I actually did one of these the other day, and like being medically evacuated on Survivor was apparently a thing. So anything can happen with these crazy simulations.
That's so
I will
funny.
say in the number that we've done.
That.
Yeah, and the number that I've done, I've only had one medevac across it all. So who knows? We could have a mass walkout here at some point, but yeah, I mean, quitting enabled. I don't know. I feel like they've already reached critical mass at this point from Big Brother Canada 8. I don't want to shift the chaos cosmos anymore by having more people quit this season.
I not to start off the podcast with tea, but I must just at least address for like 1 minute the Carol of it all, Taryn. You do know that Carol came out on Twitter and said to the fans, she said, this is her quote, "I was never going home this week. Live feeds were cut 2 days before we left the house, and game was still being played. Hashtag you don't know everything. Hashtag cast begged me not to self-evict. Hashtag live feeds are produced to duh at Carol BB 8. So what say you, Taryn?
I say that she is using the word never very liberally, considering that she was going home at various points throughout the week. And we saw people beg her to stay, and we saw her decline that begging. It wouldn't surprise me if she woke up the day after the feeds cut and was like, you know what? Maybe I will stay for Sue. But that doesn't mean that she was actually going to stay. You know how many other times she decided that she was going to stay? Plenty of times. And she still decided that she wanted to be quitting. So, I have no doubt that Carol was just not going to be a part of the season, whether or not she left by a vote on Thursday night if the season had not been canceled. And also the idea that the live feeds are produced is, I mean, they cut them. Yes. They choose which feeds to show. Yes. But the idea that they're somehow like fabricated, like there's some kind of like they're digitally just creating a video of like fake things that are, I can't believe they managed to pretend that I was going to quit. I can't believe they managed to fake it. I wanted to stay the whole time. I don't even know what I'm watching on these live feed clips or episode clips. Right. This never happened. They took my voice and they digitally remastered it. It's a deep fake. It's fake news.
Yeah, that's the thing. They throw all of that together because that is true. That it is true that the camera does cut away sometimes. It is true that they stop the feeds for a little while, especially in Big Brother Canada. It is true that they show you what they want to show you. However, if we see with our own eyes on the show, on the feeds, that you're saying blank about why you want to quit, how you're going to quit, the fact that you're never going to stay in the house, that you have to go home, that doesn't negate any of that. Nothing about that is fake. you're using the fact that there are elements to Big Brother Canada that we don't see to obscure the fact that the other stuff that we do see is actually true. And we are aware as longtime feed watchers that people talking to certain people may not be telling the truth. But when we know people who trust each other or in alliances who are working together or have no reason to distrust each other for whatever reason that they're talking about at the same time, they are saying that you're going to quit. That means that you're going to quit, Carol. You're going to quit, and I just won't have it any other way. So thank you for not including her in this podcast.
I think my favorite thing that's happened with the social media presence of the Big Brother Canada 8 players is that Carol Journey from Big Brother 8 came out and tweeted, "Man, I didn't understand why everyone was tweeting about me, about Carol and BB8. And then I was like, why does anybody care? And then I realized that, oh, it's Carol from Big Brother Canada 8. They don't care."
I can't tell if that's better or worse than when Eric blindly invited her to that Big Brother OTT event where Jose was talking about gag.com and Gina Marie's Samsung phone almost exploded and then she came in and sat on Eric Stein's lap. I will also say, I don't know, I'm looking into the hashtag a different way, guys. What do you think the chances are that Carol saying live feeds are produced because she was a mole? She was the mooch. She was a fake house guest. And she was told to do certain things and that she was going to bow out like Anthony Scaramucci did. That's what she's being. She's breaking this conspiracy wide open.
And that's what the statement is for.
I can tell you, Mike, that she also released a statement, I believe yesterday, that said that she released a statement that she was going to release a statement.
Oh, my God.
And then she said that the show asked her not to because they're going to air this, whatever they produced for tomorrow on Wednesday night. So that's where we're at with Miss Carol.
Yeah.
I just feel like she's just making it worse for herself. I feel bad for her, but like at the same time, it's like, just like you wanted to quit so you could be with your family, like go be with your family, like leave social media. It's not healthy for you to be on social media right now. Like clearly people are very upset. Just don't. It's not good for you. There's no benefit for you being on social media right now. Like, yeah. And if you were only on the show to like be on social media, then like, that's stupid anyway. Like,
has anyone counted her followers? Have they doubled yet?
Oh, they've doubled from 62 to 128, but yeah, something like that. Look, I don't understand what Carol wants out of this. It seems like she wants to fight, and I will say that given how much she's been fighting on the internet, it seems like that if she would have taken some of that chutzpah and had it in the house, we would have had a much more exciting week. But instead, she was a total wash. So
honestly, like it's just like the way she's going about it. It's like obviously she wants everyone to be like, oh, okay, we totally get it. That's why you did it. Like we're on your side. Like we believe that your stuff. Like I get why you quit. Like you made sense. Good for you. Like we're sorry we were so harsh on you. But that's never gonna happen. So like, she needs to recognize, like, cut your losses and like go, because it's just going to get worse and worse the more that you like keep trying to explain yourself. Like we already are like, there's no reason to quit. Like we don't like it. All she has to do is come online and be like, and like Brent, you said this on Twitter, I believe, where you just said like, come on, say, I'm sorry. Like I thought I could handle it. I clearly couldn't handle the game. The game was really tough. Like, I'm sorry to all the fans out there who really want to play. Like, this is a crazy game. We all know it. Boom, done.
Boom.
Like that's it.
That would be it.
Instead, she's like, I'm gonna give a statement. Like nobody understands it. The live reads are produced. You haven't seen everything. It's like, no, like we saw what we're upset about. Like we're upset with.
We saw what we know.
Yeah, and it's not like we're upset because we're hearing other things and we don't know the truth. Like we're upset because someone was trying to quit when a lot of people really care about the game and she wasn't taking it seriously. So like, I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like we've talked enough about Carol. I think, I think we're good.
No, I know. Carol. Yeah. There's no use, getting into it any further, but yeah.
Yeah. I think
until we hear a statement, at least.
Yes. Well,
I'm going to wait until the statement
is going to clear everything up. Yeah.
This statement might change everything. So just wait.
I mean, honestly, in general, I feel like the BB Can 8 cast has not fared particularly well on social media. That Min apparently was picking a fight with Aika today.
Oh,
dear.
not good.
She walked into the tiger cage. What is she doing? I love it.
Not a good idea.
It's
Abort.
the smartest players from BB Can 8 are the ones that are not active on social media right now. I get JL did a good AMA on Reddit.
Yeah,
That's
I was
about
gonna
the
say
only
JL
positive.
is the only one who has been on and has been doing good things. So
Yeah.
Well, do we know? Did like someone like Rianne have to get like right back on the job when she got back, assuming her career?
I don't know because I haven't seen it on social media.
So I would say like some people might actually like be praying that they had the time to use their Twitter fingers if they're not doing other very important life-saving things.
Yeah. Well, it's a crazy world out there, and social media is not going to help, I think. So, all right, let's move on. Let's move on to the Brantsteele. What we're here for. So we have this season set up. It's these 11 players. It's minus Carol. It's Angie, Brooke, Chris, Hira, Jean-Luc, Maddie, Min, Rianne, Sheldon, Sue, and Vanessa. Quitting is enabled. I meant to ask you this, Mike. Reasoning. Should reasoning be on or off? Because I turned it on.
So reasoning, when you turn it on and the votes to evict are revealed, it's usually like they'll give a reasoning behind why they did it, as well as for nomination. So I think with so few people, I think it's okay. I think when you have like a 16-person cast, it can be a little cluttered, but I think it's okay.
And we can always just skip it if it's boring.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. We can just click through it.
Okay. We are letting the simulator decide everything, which means that even the things we've put in, I think, can just change immediately if they've decided that that's what they want, which honestly is fair. Like, how things are right now are not necessarily going to be how they are even just a week or two from now, because things change in the house. So, it's just they're going to change kind of randomly. So
Excellent. Can I ask a couple more questions?
Yes.
So we had talked about this because of the advent of the coronavirus at the time. If the season had continued, we were thinking that the jury was going to be a jury of 7. So that makes a difference insofar as, I personally think that Brooke might have more of a chance of winning if Vanessa is not on the jury. So is this the way, is this jury in final 2, or could still some people miss the jury here?
I believe that I did put it's 9-person jury. I don't know. What do we think?
Do we want to do a celebrity Big Brother and put
7?
everyone on the jury?
No. I mean, all of these people, yes.
Not celebrity Big Brother.
I know, right? I know. Well, I don't know. I'm kind of ambivalent about it. I was thinking it was going to be a jury of 7. Not that I'm rooting for Brooke, but I'm just saying that I felt the way things were going, it was going to be a jury of 7. But Big Brother Canada has, reality shows have moved towards bigger juries. So
Yeah.
Supersized season, Brent.
It was a 7-person jury last season, but yeah, I think supersized season really indicated to me that they wanted to go big. They wanted a big jury. They wanted a big cast. This was the biggest cast ever. It's the longest season. It's the, lots of jury members. Maybe that would have changed based on all the quits and stuff. But I guess
7.
we don't know. What do you say, Melissa?
I think 7.
7?
It's so hard. Yeah, I feel like we just have to make
My
a
guess
call.
is that it would have been a 9-person jury. Let's just take a vote. Melissa says 7. I say 9.
I say 9.
I say 9. These people have been through enough. Let them be on the jury.
Okay, all right.
They're all on the jury.
All right.
There we go.
I feel like the way the reality TV has moved, I feel like it's going to be a 9-person jury.
Yeah, I agree. Especially the supersized, language at the top.
I agree.
All right. So, are we ready to dive in?
We are.
All right.
go.
Let's proceed. All right, here we go. Here's the alliances that I listed out. We don't have to go through all of them because it's actually quite a lot. But you got the cool kids. You got 4 Out. You got
Melissa,
Shook.
mute yourself. We can hear you.
Sorry, my mic fell off.
Melissa's like, all right, time to get started. Great. Let me make as much extraneous noise as possible.
We've got Squadron Midnight. You got I called these people the six. It was just Brooke, Sheldon, Hira, and then the evictors. And then you got like the shook final three deal with Min.
Sacred Seek Min deal.
Yeah, fake secret Min. You had to name them something, so
Yeah.
And you have the evictors.
Okay.
This is the strongest. The evictors and Shook, the most loyal to each other in the game, I think. Then you have like Vanessa and Chris.
Okay.
They're kind of a duo. And then
Yeah, I like that. In that relationship, you have Chris as an 8. It's always on a scale of 1 to 10. People. By the way,
Or
10
1
being
to
most
9.
loyal. Is it a 1 to 9? Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for telling me that. I thought it was 1 to 10. 1 to 9, and Chris is at an 8 on a scale of 1 to 9, and Vanessa's loyalty is at a 5 in that relationship. So I think it's very accurate.
yeah,
Is Chris the most intensely loyal person in every alliance that he's in? Because that feels very appropriate.
I not always, but cause he's very loyal, but he also was willing to turn on Kyle, was willing to like use Sue. Like Sue considered Chris to be her number 1, and he was like, yeah, but I prefer Vanessa. But yeah, I felt like Vanessa probably caps out her loyalty at about a 5 to anybody.
Yeah. Vanessa's sort of playing on
Yes.
like her own little curve here of like,
Yeah.
that's the most she'll ever trust anybody.
Yeah.
Yes, and then the final little group, I said, let's include Angela was what I called it, and that's she's kind
God.
of with Chris and Vanessa a little bit. Not
Yeah, that person who came at me on Twitter who said that I was underestimating, me and Melissa were underestimating Angie's strengths in the Big Brother house, that she couldn't win. This is why, okay? You see her on this list? There's one alliance with her, and it's a fake alliance.
But we were also accused of attacking her personally, and I was like, I don't think we ever said anything about Angie. Like, even just to talk about her, I don't even think we talked about
She
her.
was too boring to be attacked. Come on,
Yeah.
Melissa. Yeah.
I will also say to any Big Brother Canada 8 players that are watching out here, we all wish you the best
You
of
know
luck.
they are.
May the odds ever be in your favor. We're here for you no matter what the outcome may be.
Yes. All right. So let's proceed. Let's proceed to week 1, or which is really week 4 or whatever. But we had to just start at a point. We couldn't.
Yes.
We can't like force it, right? So here we are, the first week of the simulation.
Fabulous.
And we have we don't need the description of the
No, I think
competition.
this was the first HOH of actually Big Brother 4, I think. Maybe there's
Treadmills
like
of
one person
terror.
running on the treadmill and the other one gets like dunked in fish guts
Ooh.
or something.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Oh. So in this competition, Sheldon throws the competition, and actually that's pretty appropriate because he wouldn't have been competing. So then we get Brooke also threw the competition. That was actually what was going to happen. So that's pretty good.
Wow.
Angie finishes low. We got Min in 8th place, Maddie in 7th. We keep going down. The top 3. The competition comes down to John Luke, Hira, and Rianne. That's a bad outcome already for Chris and Vanessa.
Yes, I'm excited to see this. This is very fun.
All right.
Vanessa may be going home.
In 3rd place,
In 3rd place.
Rianne.
Ooh, it's gonna be
Yes.
Hira, or Hira's becoming that comp beast.
Hira or John Luke. This seems appropriate. It seems they were both gunning for it. They both want to take the shot at Chris and Vanessa. All
I
right.
think Hira's going to win.
The winner of the HOH is John Luke.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, surprise.
Takes the win.
All right.
Victors are finally getting to hang out in that HOH room without being
Yes.
taken on like a guilty date to Wendy's.
Yeah, that is not in the simulation, right? Who is
No.
John Luke taking to Wendy's?
Oh, God. It's so sad. We're missing out on so much.
Well, I think Maddie went on a Wendy's date, right? So you
Yeah,
think
she
he'd
just
take
went
Rianne.
on. She went on one recently. He also took Rianne on one though, didn't he? Sheldon.
I'm trying to remember who Sheldon took on the
Yeah,
other
I
one
think
that he had
so.
to do.
I always fast forward through that, basically.
Yeah.
Brooke. People are saying he might take Brooke. I think that could be the truth. All right. Well, let's say he takes Brooke. We get here. It's the nomination ceremony. Who is John Luke going to target? I feel like if this is real, I feel like what John Luke wanted to do was something along the lines of Vanessa and Sue with like a Chris back door, or maybe even just Chris straight up on the block. But I think his plan was Vanessa and Sue with the Chris back door. So what do you guys think? What are your predictions here?
I concur, Melissa. I think that he was going. This is the whole thing with Vanessa and Chris, that they were together. Vanessa and Chris were together, obviously, and they had different ideas about who they wanted to target. But Jean-Luc also had different ideas about who he wanted to target, and he was always going after Chris more than anybody else.
So all right, let's see. We can do the keys. We've got
Ooh,
keys, guys.
this is much better
Yes,
than
give
the
the people
actual
the keys,
BB Cam version of
Taryn.
like, hey, you and you go sit down. This is why I nominated you.
Yes. All right. So key number 1, Brooke, you are safe.
Oh, the Wendy's date.
There you go. Sue, you are safe. Interesting. So this is not what he planned on doing already. Maddie, you are safe. But granted, people don't always follow through on their plans. Who knows what could have changed?
Yeah, somebody might have gotten into a fight.
Yeah. Rianne, you are safe.
Yeah, this is about what he would do. Like if he was doing the keys, he would put like them third and fourth, like to quote unquote hide the fact that he was close to them, and then like have them like third or fourth. Okay, yeah.
All right. Hira, you are safe.
Yeah.
You think they made a deal at that endurance challenge?
Who?
Here
JL
Oh yeah,
Here in jail.
probably.
Well,
They were the last
they're
two.
already working together, I think.
That's true.
Enough. Maybe Sue was lasting a little while and he made a deal. Although she didn't last very long. No, we saw how long she lasted. All right, Sheldon, you are safe.
Yep.
Angie, you are safe.
So it's what, Chris, Vanessa, and Min
Yes.
are left?
Okay.
Good job, Mike.
that's-
Thank you.
Min, you are safe. Okay,
go.
so he just went straight up. Vanessa and Chris have been nominated. There you go.
Wait, I have to read
Look at
this.
his reasoning!
Okay.
The quote from Jean-Luc.
Jean-Luc to Chris.
Unfazed.
Chris, I do not like you at all. Also, Vanessa, I dislike you.
Also,
Chris-
Chris is unfazed, but Vanessa is too angry to speak.
Chris is unfazed. He's like, yeah, whatever.
I just love Chris. I do not like you at all. Vanessa, I dislike you. Nomination ceremony is adjourned.
You like made me beat up a pillow one time, and so I feel like this is appropriate. I think this could be what it wasn't his plan, but maybe he wins HOH. Plans change. Maybe he talked with Chris, and Chris was just like, bro. Just put me straight up on the block, man. Just don't backdoor me. Just respect me enough to put me on the block. And Jalen will be like, you didn't respect Michael enough, but he'll be like, yeah, but you're a better man, aren't you? And he'll be like, okay.
Okay.
All right, so Chris and Vanessa on the block. Let's move on to the veto competition. Oh yeah, we couldn't prevent the HOH from competing in veto.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
Oh no.
Well, here we are.
Yeah. So that could be a game changer, but what are you gonna do? You know what? What's really what would have happened is that if they had kept the season going, they would have been so short-staffed because of the situation that's happening in the world that they wouldn't be able to enforce their twists anymore. And here we
The
go.
Twitch guy would have lost his job.
There you go. It's time. The HOH is now competing in the veto competition once more.
Or we'll say that Sheldon played his Wendy's medallion of
Yes.
power, and now the HOH can permanently play in the veto.
Yeah. All right. So Jean-Luc is going to draw. He gets house guest choice and selects Rianne to participate.
Okay, that makes sense.
I agree.
There you go. Chris draws Brooke, and Vanessa draws Hira. Ooh, this is a rough veto draw here for Vanessa and Chris. This is deadly. They're
Yeah, Chris, you got problems.
Yeah,
Sorry, I was looking down.
just looking at this right away, Brooke is definitely throwing this veto. She's not winning because then if she wins, she'll have to use it on Chris or Vanessa, and she won't want to. And so it's basically Hira, the veto king, against a hero, Jean-Luc, who just won HOH, and Rianne against Chris and Vanessa.
Probably one of the worst draws I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Like, this is like when Cody on Big Brother 19 thought he was going to be in the competition and they pulled him out, and the new lineup looked absolutely terrible for him and Jessica. Like, this is bad.
All right. Let's head to the competition. Okay. It's Keeping Up with the Joneses
Oh, that's the trampoline one where
Yeah,
they have to memorize what's in the house and they have to set it up the exact same way. That just seems like something to do on BB Can. Too.
Yeah, they've done things like that. Yeah. All right, Hira finished in last place in the veto. He's not going to keep his veto king status. Chris finished in 5th. Ooh, this could be the end of Chris. Rianne finishes 4th. The top 3. Vanessa, Brooke, or John Luke. Well, I said that Brooke would want to throw this, but I don't know if Brantsteele knows that. So here we go. 3rd place is Vanessa. It comes down to Brooke.
Come on, JL.
Or JL, but that means Vanessa's already out. The winner of the veto is John Luke.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
The twist already comes into play.
Yes. HOH is already winning vetoes. Wow, so there you go. John Luke with the veto. That likely means that Vanessa and Chris are going to stay on the block here, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, is he going to say the same thing when he doesn't use it, though? I still don't like you. I really don't like you either. I'm not going to use the veto. Box shut.
I love that. Oh my God. If somebody on Big Brother Canada would actually just say that, I would be like, thank you.
Well,
Thank
Godfrey
you.
did.
Thank you. Yes. Oh, God.
All right, so we get to the veto ceremony. Chris and Vanessa state why they should be saved. Chris says, I am less of a challenge threat than Vanessa.
Never. He would never say that.
To be fair,
Chris?
Vanessa apparently doesn't bother to give a speech. Is she like a bitter Betty this entire time? Like she's so
Yeah?
angry at the nominations.
Yeah?
She doesn't even give a speech.
I still got her paddle.
Yeah, like we never saw her like the only time she was actively betrayed by somebody, it was when like Min did it, when Min was like, "Oh, you betrayed me, Vanessa," and we saw how she reacted to that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't do conflict very well at all. Like, this does not surprise me.
All right, what does John Luke decide to do? Nobody thinks he's using the veto here, right?
No.
I can't believe he would.
All right, so John Luke has decided not to use the power of veto. He says,
I won't be upset to see either of you leave.
John Luke has negative relationships with both nominees.
Chris has once again no reaction, and Vanessa is very upset.
Final nominees are Chris and Vanessa. Okay, so now we have to figure out here. Oh, we have house events. There's gonna be a house
and
event.
this is always a fun one.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
ready for this.
What's the house event going to be here? Rianne breaks down and threatens to quit. Oh no!
Oh no, another quit.
Oh no!
Please no.
On John Luke's HOH.
These like threatening to quit, I swear, because we like, you know, I've done some of these before too. Like these threatening to quit things are completely random. Like it has nothing to do with anything that goes into them. So Rianne is threatening to quit. She's very upset about what happened with Carol, and she just wants to go as well. A banner flies over the backyard reading, "Vanessa is not to be trusted." Wow, that's actually pretty.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do we think the
Plausible.
Jamar fan base sent that banner over?
Yeah. Suzanne makes an effort to improve relationships in the house.
That's good.
There you go.
She's gonna
Good
need
for
to
her.
after the last
Yeah.
week she had. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
she was struggling socially after last week, but she is a very social person. That's exactly what I think she would do. And Vanessa, due to the mental stress of the game, Vanessa has isolated herself from the rest of the
She
house.
pulls
we
an
think-
Audrey.
Yeah, I was
She
saying, do you
gets
think
the
Vanessa's
blanket.
like blanketing by the end of this week? Is she just in full meltdown mode? And would that help keep her over someone like Chris?
I don't know. It's interesting. So we have to look here. That we have the votes. There's 11 people, so there's 8 votes, right? And they consist of Maddie, Rianne, Hira, Sheldon, Brooke, Angie, and Min. So I think that Sheldon and Brooke would prefer to keep Chris around if they can. But obviously the evictors are probably looking more at keeping Vanessa. So the question might be, can Sheldon and Brooke pull 3 other votes? I don't know. I think that's rough.
They could pull 2. Pulling 3, I think, is a tough sell.
Yeah,
I'm
they-
intrigued to see how Angie votes. These are her 2 closest allies by default.
Yeah, I think that they'd have to convince the evictors that keeping Chris around is the better option. I think that's a hard sell, unless Vanessa's isolation has really really pissed people off. If her attitude has just been so abhorrent that they need her gone. Brent, you've been giving her ones all season long. What is your confidence level in Vanessa?
Not good, Bob.
Yeah, I think Vanessa's out because I think she's causing too many issues. The banner plane came by, she's not to be trusted. Chris has been laying low. He wasn't phased by the
And JL doesn't like either one of these people. Remember that.
No, that's true. No skin
true.
off his back either way.
All right, we get to the vote. Chris and Vanessa face eviction.
Chris once again says, "I am less of a challenge threat than Vanessa." Vanessa, 2 for 2 on just.
At least she's consistent. I like that about the simulator.
I just imagine Ursa being like, "Vanessa, you turn." She goes, "No," and then sits back in her chair.
I'm really loving this world where Chris and Vanessa are sitting on the block together, and Chris's whole pitch is, guys, no, she's way better than me. I'm telling you. She's way too good at competitions. I suck. You saw me fail, right?
Right?
she just doesn't say anything, like no rebuttal, no nothing. She just
Yeah, exactly.
She's just sitting there, like steaming, just staring at Brooke, like, this is definitely your fault. I know it.
Oh, 100. Oh my God.
He took you to Wendy's. You told him to do this. All right. The house guests are going to vote. All right. Okay, here we go. Angie's vote.
I like that we can see them in the order that we want, because you know that like the show does them in a certain order.
Oh, yeah. We can choose whatever order we want. Whose vote do we want to see first?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Angie's vote. Okay. Who do we think Angie votes? I think Angie votes out Vanessa over Chris. She has a better relationship with Chris.
I would think so too.
Angie has voted out Chris. Well, there you go.
well,
Okay. She says that her alliance is stronger with Vanessa. Vanessa's charm has won Angie over. All right. What about Min? I think because Min theoretically Min is closer to Vanessa, but I felt like she would rather Chris stick around than Vanessa. But I'm not sure.
I disagree with that. I think she's going to evict Chris.
Okay.
I think she'll evict Chris.
All right. Min Lee has decided to evict Vanessa.
Wow.
Right.
Min Lee considers Vanessa a greater overall threat.
Wow, she bought Chris's pitch. One
Yes.
person did.
All right. Let's go next to Sheldon and Brooke. How about that? We'll start with Brooke. Brooke has decided to, like I said, I think Brooke and Sheldon would prefer Chris stay. He's more useful to them, especially without Vanessa around, because where else does he have to go?
At this point in time, like they didn't trust Vanessa as far as they could throw her. Like they were keeping her around in name only, just so she didn't completely blow up everything. So I have to believe they're going to keep Chris here.
Yes, Brooke has decided to evict Vanessa. She considers Vanessa the greater overall threat.
So I just assume Sheldon's in lockstep here.
Yeah.
Also has voted to evict Vanessa. He feels he's in a stronger alliance with Chris, which I think is correct.
So that's 3-1, and it's 5 votes to evict, 4 to have a tie.
Yes. So Sue should definitely want to keep Chris over Vanessa, right?
Right.
And she has voted to evict Vanessa.
An unbreakable relationship with Chris, apparently, is what it says.
Yes, he's her number one. He's her number one in the game. All right, that leaves 3 votes. There's currently 4 votes to evict Vanessa, but we have Hira, Maddie, and Rianne left to vote. And if they all decide they would want Chris to go, then JL can break the tie because he would be voting with them and evict Chris. So the question is, have Brooke and Sheldon convinced the evictors to go along with what they want? We'll have to see.
I'm looking into my magic 8 ball. Signs point to yes, considering they've gotten everything they wanted up until the season at this point.
All right, Hira has decided to evict Vanessa.
That's
All
it.
Right.
Maddie evicts Vanessa. Rianne evicts
So
Vanessa.
literally everyone but Angie voted to evict
Everyone but
Vanessa.
Angie.
God, she was out of the loop. Oh no.
Oh wow! Look at that! By a vote of 7-1, Vanessa, you have been evicted
I
from
like
the Big
how
Brother house.
it turns her black and white. I live for that. Thank you
Vanessa
so
gives an
much.
explosive speech and storms out of the house.
Okay,
Wow.
what is her speech, Mike? What is
very
what
dramatic.
is her what does she come up with here? Because she's been
She
silent.
says she played a loyal game.
She's been silent all week long. In
Yeah,
the
she's been
speeches.
stewing this entire time. I think she does like a Michael Scott like roast routine where she just goes down the line and starts roasting every single person as she's stomping her way up the stairs. And then eventually she walks her way out. It's the most she said all week. And people are celebrating in the streets on BB Twitter because this has finally happened, even though this does make her, the first juror. And we always know what sort of role that plays. So it should be very interesting.
Yeah, I'd like to revisit my decision to make the jury 9.
She's now the 4-person of the jury.
Oh boy.
I think she says that she that they're all fake, that they've all betrayed her, that she's too real for the game, and that she was and you know what, Brooke, you still owe me an apology. I don't know for what
reasons.
The plague has been recast on this house.
Exactly. The plague has been removed. I'm respreading the plague.
All right, let's move on to week 2 of the simulation.
We need a new HOH, Taryn.
All right, John Luke has won a couple of comps now. Vanessa is gone, and it's time for the next HOH competition. Here are the alliances.
They're going to remain the same. Usually, when an alliance falls, there's an alliance event. Sheldon
has
leaves
left
the 6.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't put a ton of stock into this. Can we go back and see what was the original strength of the Yeah, he was a 1. So
Sheldon and Brooke weren't loyal to any of their alliances.
I think that this maybe I would take this to mean as he's putting less effort into maintaining the illusion of this alliance.
And
So you think if he gets in power, he'll turn on the evictors?
Yeah, and that actually makes sense to me, because what Sheldon and Brooke are trying to do is play the two sides off of each other, and the evictors just landed a big blow. This 6, the evictors plus Hera just landed a big blow against the Vanessa and Chris side of things, and so they can't continue to help them. Now they need to go to the weaker side and help them. So this actually does make sense.
Yeah.
All right. Now we get to the HOH competition. House guest soup. The house guest must sit in a bathtub filled with water at predetermined intervals. Buckets with various disgusting items will be dumped into the tub.
This was the one that Amy Cruz won when she came back in BB3.
Amy came back and won this one. Angie, it's not about it.
Angie, she's finishing last.
She walks out before a single bucket of gross stuff comes into the pool. Arissa hasn't even finished describing the competition, and Angie has decided this is not for me.
Flop.
They come back from the commercial break, and Arissa's like, see what happens next time, and Angie's already out. Okay, well, we'll find out more in the next episode.
Tune in.
Then they bring in then they bring in the gross stuff, and Sue is just like, nope, this is no good. Min Lee is out in 7th place. They're gunning for. I think as soon as Sue leaves, Min is like, you know what? I don't need to win this one. I said I wanted to, but I don't need to. So she's gonna pretend that she has to get out, but in reality, it's just because she didn't care as long as Sue didn't win. Hera is gonna finish in 6th place. Then Rianne. Then Maddie. The top 3,
Ooh.
Chris, Brooke, and Sheldon. I have to imagine that Brooke and Sheldon are itching to throw this one to Chris.
I would imagine so as well. Like, get the blood on his hands. He has that narrative revenge. And if you're talking about wanting to swing the vote back against the evictors, it's a perfect way to do it.
Yeah, but we saw that Sheldon isn't always able to throw things when he wants to. Like, if he's there at the end and the power is like right there on the tip of his fingers, I could see him having a tough time throwing this.
It would be rough for his game, though, if he's the one that has to take that shot at the evictors.
But they have grown pretty powerful at this point, the evictors I'm talking about. So he might think, let me do it myself.
I think the smart move is to throw it to Chris. Let Chris do his revenge thing. He's already won a gun for them. Just go for it.
And this is exactly the kind of competition Chris would win. He'd be sitting there like, bring more gross stuff, guys. I'm all about it. So here we go. 3rd place is Brooke.
Okay.
And once again is going to come down to Sheldon
Boy.
and Chris. And the winner of the HOH is Chris. There it is.
Smart move. Very smart move.
He learned from his mistake. He regretted it the last time, and Sheldon has decided to give this one to Chris, which I think is very appropriate. It just send Chris right after the people that just took out his bae. They got rid of Vanessa, and now it's time for Chris to the bull to go after the competition.
Yes. I like
All
it.
right.
I like Jerome in the chat says, "Ooh, surrealistic."
All right. So, all right. Who do we think he takes the shot at here? Now we know that he was really gunning for Hira. Hira was the guy that he was really the most afraid of when the show ended. However, John Luke just took a clear shot, and John Luke was not a very distant second in terms of targets for Chris. So. I wouldn't be surprised if he just went straight up Hira and JL,
Yep.
but we also know that he's fond of backdoors. So, Melissa,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, I think in this situation, when JL just nominated him, I think that's going to be something on his mind. So I think he will just want to make a big move and put JL and Hira on the block right off the bat.
Yeah. All right. Let's see the keys. Key number 1. Who does Chris put as number 1? It's got to be Sue at this point, right? Now that Vanessa's gone, he's got to be like all in on Sue.
Oh, poor Angie.
Yeah, Angie.
Angie.
Yeah.
Angie's the first key. There you
Throw her
go.
a bone. You think he took her to Wendy's?
He definitely took Angie to Wendy's. He definitely took Angie to Wendy's. I forgot about something.
Here's the bigger question. Does Chris's mom show up again at the Wendy's window?
And he doesn't recognize her
He
again.
doesn't recognize her once more.
I think in this universe, the virus is still active.
They got hey, I will say, Wendy's. You got what you wanted out of that because I've watched that clip like 20 times. So.
So
If
funny.
you wanted people to see the Wendy's logo there, I think Chris did a great job for you.
No, the Wendy's person is actually Vanessa. She comes in from the jury, and he says,
And he still doesn't recognize
"Yes, nice to meet you, Vanessa.
her. She's like, Chris, it's me.
Your mom. What? It's DNA. Project DNA. All right. Key number 2 is Min Lee. You are safe. Look at Min, the cockroach.
Wow.
Sliding by.
I love this universe where Min is just you can't kill her. She's not gonna die.
Well, I think with this hard reset, they're like, okay, let's call like a truce on nominating men for a while. It happened, 3 weeks in a row. Let's calm down.
Yes. And then John Luke, you are safe.
Wow.
Ooh,
Okay, this could be a back door.
Interesting. Brooke, you are safe. Sue, you are safe.
Sheldon?
Maddie, you are safe.
So
Oh
it's
boy.
Sheldon, Rhiannon, and Hira are the three.
Sheldon,
It's going to be
Rhiannon, and
Sheldon
Hira.
and Hira.
I
Right?
mean, that would be a weird move.
It'd be weird, but
I mean,
It'd be
we do
Chris.
know that he thought about putting up Sheldon back in week 1. Kyle
That's
had to
true.
talk him out of it. So maybe with Vanessa gone, with Kyle gone, he's just gone completely rogue. He made a deal with Sheldon, but he's the game changer, and you never know what he's gonna do. It's you mess with the bull, you can get the horn sometimes. So here we go. Final key is Sheldon. Okay.
Wow, he had him sweating there.
So the 2 nominees are Hira and Rhiannon.
And Chris uses the exact same logic. Hira, I do not like you at all. Also, Rhiannon, I dislike you. And
doesn't
neither
even
one of them
dislike
have
Rhiannon.
any reaction.
That's not even true, but we'll take it.
Yeah,
it was like,
for the
yeah, whatever,
record-
Chris.
For the record, I didn't put that he disliked Rhiannon. That's
The computer's
Do
just
you think he
making
felt
that up.
bad that he's like, oh, I shouldn't have really piled it on to Hira. So Rhiannon, I also dislike you. I don't
Well,
have play favorites.
You know what? Rhiannon was like a big part of last week, right? Like she was picked by JL to compete in the veto. So I bet that that relationship, even though she let him give her a long massage before the season ended, I bet that relationship has deteriorated. This seems to me like he's just going straight at Hira with a pawn next to him, and then maybe if the veto is used, maybe JL goes up and he takes the shot at JL.
I just don't know why you take the shot at Hira when he's won 2 vetoes before,
Well, that's why you've got the backup plan in JL.
Right, that's true, I suppose.
Yeah. All right. They're both. Hira has no reaction. Rianne is unfazed. They're chill. They're both chill. All right. Then we get to the veto draw. Chris gets house guest choice and selects Brooke. Oh, I bet she did not like that. I bet she was like, "Damn, Chris." Like I can't say anything because I'm supposed to be in an alliance with him, and he doesn't really have anybody else at this point. But like, Chris, you're showing our cards here. All right, Hira draws Maddie.
Okay, that's good for Rianne.
And Rianne draws Sue. Interesting. All right. So here we go. We get to the veto competition. It's licensed to veto.
Oh, beep beep. That one.
Is this the one that? Wait.
That was the one. It's the one in Big Brother 10 where you memorize the license
How do you
plates.
remember all these? Oh my god.
Well, the only thing I remember is because there's this compilation video of Jerry going beep beep as he's announcing the competition, combined with running the "It's locked, Mother of Joseph."
This is the one that Dan throws while on the block, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I think this is the week 2 veto.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that unfortunately JP is going to try to replicate later in the future. So Chris comes in last place in license to veto. It's then Brooke, then Maddie. So it's going to come down to Rianne, Hira, or Sue. I think Sue is the only hope here obviously the only hope here at keeping the nominations the same. I assume that she would keep the nominations the same, but
Oh yeah.
we don't really know where Sue stands. Maybe Sue is, you know what? Maybe Sue is in Chris's ear like, hey, it's gotta be Min. And without Vanessa there to counter, maybe she makes progress. I don't know.
That's a really good point. I forgot about she was obsessed with Min, so she might actually they might feasibly have a way to trick Sue into thinking that this isn't a backdoor when in actuality it is a backdoor.
All right. In third place is Sue, so it's not
Okay,
gonna matter.
so one of the nominees is going to win this.
So between Rianne and Hira, can Hira pull out his third veto win?
The winner is
He can.
wow.
James
champ.
Ryan is shaking in his boots right now. Look at what Hira's doing.
The veto king is Hira. He will be taking himself off the block. So what is going to happen? They state why they should save themselves or be saved. Hira, it just makes sense for me to save myself. Accurate.
Yeah.
So do we think that JL's going up then as a renom?
All right. What do we think here? I would assume that it's JL. You know, maybe there's a reason JL is not on the board here. But Sheldon was the last key revealed. Is there a chance it's, although, you know what, because Chris chose Brooke to play in the veto, and I think he trusts Brooke. I think if Brooke is in his ear, then it can't be Sheldon. So I have to imagine it's John Luke. Sue is like, it's got to be Min. It's got to be Min. But I feel like there's no way he leaves JL and Hira alone. So I feel like it's JL. You guys with me?
I'd agree
Yeah.
with that.
All right. Hira has decided to use the power veto on himself. Chris replaces Hira with Min Lee.
She must. See, I will say that this is. There is a world where I can see this happening.
You're right. We consistently underestimated the power of Min getting herself into trouble. And with Vanessa, with Vanessa out of the way, Sue being in Chris's ear about Min Lee, I actually think this is somewhat realistic.
I mean, yeah, this might be a house event, but I'm assuming Min got bored with no Vanessa there and decided to just like rile things up again. And then Chris got so ticked off that
she
he's
was
like, you know
in a
what,
good
fine.
spot on the week that all this shit happened, and then she decided to get herself into some trouble, Mike. I mean, like Taryn called it. I was like, yeah, but she'll be like, she can at least be fine for a week. The God who I'm dealing with here.
Yeah. And it would be very appropriate if Min threw the HOH thinking I'm totally fine, and then this is the week that she gets backdoored. So now it's between Min and Rianne, but we do have some house events. Angie this time breaks down and threatens to quit.
Okay, fine,
I think we can just
whatever.
avoid. I think we
Yeah,
just ignore
whatever.
those. They're,
I'm
they're
ignoring
too
them.
Yeah, the
random.
quitter of the week.
Suzanne tells a heartfelt story about why she needs the money.
She's all about building relationships.
Yes.
Every house event, it's her being like, I'm gonna see what I can do.
Well, it worked this time. Maybe that's why she got Min nominated.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know what? It seems to me like Sue is recovering slowly but surely from the danger that she was putting herself in.
I will say, Wildcard Watson in the chat says Angie is gonna quit. Haha for Min.
Well, who knows? She might stay this eviction. We'll get into it.
Hold on here. There is an event between Angie and Min.
Oh no.
They go into a heated argument.
Well, thank
Story
God it's not
checks
over
out.
Instagram stories for all of our
Yeah.
sakes.
That definitely checks out. That they would definitely have a heated argument. So, all right. Then we get to the vote. They both face eviction. It's time to give speeches. Min Lee says, "I'm less of a challenge threat than Rianne," and Rianne just gives a casual speech.
Yeah, unless they're interesting, these reasonings are bullshit.
I just like to know what a
They're
casual
speeches.
speech means. Does that mean like shout outs?
Shout
and,
outs.
Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
shout outs and thank you so much.
I
for
think
having
I think
me.
that tracks for Rianne.
Yep.
All right, here are the votes. There's 7 votes, so it takes 4 to evict. The vote is between Min Lee and Rianne. Now, this is a tricky spot. So Rianne should have on lock Hira,
Maddie.
John Luke, and Maddie.
Yes.
That's
Yep.
3 votes. They need 4, so they need one of Sheldon, Brooke, Angie, or
Well, I bet
Sue.
Angie will. Angie will vote to Min Lee
Well,
out.
I mean,
because
if-
they just got in a fight.
Angie will vote Min Lee no matter what. She was left out on the last vote. She's doing whatever the hell she wants to do.
Yeah, Angie's definitely voting out Min Lee. That's wow. So that's it. That's Min Lee is done.
Yeah.
I mean, if Brooke and Sheldon really want, I mean, Brooke and Sheldon could also, if their intention was really to make a move against the evictors, though, they could try to take the shot at Rianne this week.
They could. So if Brooke and Sheldon wanted to take the shot at Rianne, which I have to assume they'd want to here, although I don't think they care that much about Min Lee. I don't think they're fighting too hard here. But if they wanted to, who do they flip? It would have to be Hira. Or Angie. And I think both of those are hard. Hard sells.
Hard sells, but not impossible.
All right. Well, let's just start with the evictors here. That Maddie votes to evict Min Lee. John Luke votes to evict Min Lee. So there you go. Then Hira. I think Hira's a vote to evict Min Lee. And then
The Angie.
all right, let's do Angie. Let's see. Well, Angie's potentially the swing vote. Right? So maybe
So
we
let's
should...
see what Sue does.
Well, I mean, we know that Brooke and Sheldon aren't going to vote the other way unless they think they can do this here. So
Yeah. All right.
I
Well,
think either way.
let's see what Sheldon has decided to do.
It's going to be Min Lee.
Sheldon evicts Rianne.
Oh.
Well, then Brooke must have evicted Rianne.
Well, yeah, see
Okay.
Brooke. Check Brooke.
Brooke evicts Rianne.
oh my
boy.
God.
Oh man.
Okay, what'd Sue do?
Sue has decided. I forgot. Sue definitely wants Min out though. There's no way they have the votes.
I don't know. Did they just get caught flat?
But yeah, but I will say that Sheldon and Brooke have been they have been up until this point. They have been immaculate at getting done what they needed to have done and convincing people that to set their feelings aside and do this for the benefit of their game. So I can see a path here where they, and again, Sue runs hot and cold with Min. There were definitely a lot of days where she was like, "I need this bitch out," but there were other days where she didn't even think about her. So
Do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, Sue has decided to evict Min Lee.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
that's
That's
it. Angie evicted Rianne. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. So here's maybe what happened. Sheldon and Brooke were like, this is our time to make the move against Rianne. They worked on Angie all week long. They managed to flip Angie, but they forgot about Sue. And they couldn't get Sue, and before they knew it, maybe Sue even was like, fine, but then she was like, but no, secretly I'm gonna vote to evict Min, and I don't care what they want.
She's totally doing what Min did in week 1 of like, no, it was my secret plan to get rid of Min. So like, I need to put this as a feather in my cap. She has like the saltiest goodbye message. Do they do goodbye messages in BB Can? I don't remember, but if they do, she has the saltiest goodbye message to her.
I don't think they do. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember now.
I don't think they
Like
do.
maybe occasionally they do. I don't, back when they had that sideshow, maybe they
Yeah.
did then. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this
Wow.
is interesting. So
I mean, people were waiting to see when Brooke and Sheldon would get caught with their hands in the cookie jar, but they took a big old reach in the second round of this game.
yeah.
Yeah, but how much is that going to hurt them in this game though? We know in real life that would definitely do some damage, but I'm waiting to see what happens with the results of the simulation.
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
yeah, they do goodbye messages. We saw them for Michael.
yeah, but
Remember,
but
like,
jury.
right.
Like Min was like, "Oh, you mean jury messages?"
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I would
I mean,
say
probably.
Yeah, like
Who knows?
They? Like why
Yeah.
wouldn't they? Yeah.
All right. So here's the main question I'm interested in. Did Suzanne cast a hinky vote? Did she lead Sheldon and Brooke on just to flip it at the last second, and then try to hide the fact that she did it in order to get Min out? Is that more or less realistic than Sheldon and Brooke just completely failing at the vote?
Yeah, the former I think is probably more realistic.
Yeah.
Because I mean I just haven't seen Brooke and Sheldon fail at anything so far. And not that they couldn't. It's just that I don't think they would make this move unless they absolutely thought they had the votes. I think it's more likely that Sue decided to do like a hinky vote and then pretend like, oh well, I don't know what happened. Like Angie must have like oh, don't look at me. Like I mean,
Mhm.
Or maybe this was like a Big Brother Canada 4 situation when it was, Dallas and what's her name? Was
Maddie?
the swing vote. The British one.
Nikki.
Nikki was the swing
Nikki.
vote, right? And so that like nobody really knew where the vote was going to go because at the last minute there was like a big blow up between Min and Angie and Sue, and so at the last second Sue decided to flip her vote.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like this is like right before the live show, quote unquote live show. I think this is like hours before the eviction. This like heated argument occurs and everyone's still steaming, sitting on the couches. And then maybe this causes some people to change their minds or think that they changed their minds.
Yeah, but either way, this is really bad for Brooke and Sheldon, and the evictors look very strong here. That they have all three of their members plus Hira in a strong position. They can all compete next week, and now Brooke and Sheldon have been outed as trying to get rid of them, probably. So here we go. By a vote of 4-3, Min Lee has been evicted from the Big Brother house. She also gave an explosive speech and stormed out of the house, which definitely tracks.
Yeah.
I think she tries to drag Sue's suitcase out with her. And like production steps in and like has to stop her, be like, you can't damage people's property. So she just sort of storms out.
what? I'm not allowed to do that.
Yeah, maybe another option is that Sue just intentionally lied about her vote. Doesn't even plan on hiding it, but she wanted to trick Min into thinking she was staying, so she lied to Min and everybody else that she was staying. And then when the vote is revealed, Sue is just like, ha ha ha! Whose boyfriend is breaking up with them now?
Yeah, and she pulls a Tamar Braxton and starts tap dancing as Min's walking out the door.
Yeah, and
I think that's more real.
Yeah, they just get into it, and yes, she throws Sue's bag over the railing before she leaves, and then she heads to the jury house where her and Vanessa are gonna hang out.
Oh my god!
Have fun.
Oh,
if ever we
boy.
needed jury house feeds.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. Min and Vanessa, the first two gone from the simulation. We proceed to week 3. Any changes in alliances? Doesn't look like it.
No.
Doesn't look like it. All right. So we get to the new HOH competition. The more, the merrier.
It's a slip and slide.
They each stand in individual lanes, and they are going to be transporting hot chocolate back and
Seems
forth.
very Canadian.
Yes. Yes. Brooke finishes last. She threw
it.
Interesting. She just lost. She was on the bad end of this vote, and she threw this competition. I do not know what Brooke and Sheldon are doing at this point. What is the narrative here? How do we make sense of this?
Could it be that like Brooke feels that this is Sheldon's competition and she feels like she's more invested, like maybe trying to scheme on the sidelines or like trying to invest her time with talking with people on the DL while this is happening?
Maybe she went for like the safety bucket, but wasn't good enough to fill it because, like, let's be real, Brooke would do really bad at this.
Yeah, really bad. Yeah.
She's got like these long limbs. She doesn't seem particularly coordinated. I don't think she's doing too well here. So I think she just decided, I'm not going to win this. I'm going to go for the safety bucket. Or maybe she was going for like a reward or something.
Maybe like a free trip to Wendy's.
Yeah.
What a reward.
Some summer fresh groceries or whatever.
Get the dishes.
Angie is then going to finish in second to last, followed by Sue, Rianne, John Luke. The final three in the competition.
It has to be. Sorry, go ahead.
It's got to be Sheldon.
It's got to be Sheldon. It's
Well, it
gotta
could be
Sheldon.
Hira.
And he needs it right now.
It could be Hira. Yeah, Sheldon needs it, but it could be Hira.
It could be Hira. I think if I was watching this competition, I would put all of my money on Sheldon right away, and I would feel very confident. He's an athlete. He is tall. He is he is the guy that I think can win this competition. I think he needs to now, and so I think he's going for it. So
Okay.
third place is Maddie. So it does come down to Hira or Sheldon. The winner is Hira.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Upset.
Not expecting that.
I was not expecting that either. Wow.
Must have been like a photo finish or something.
Yeah.
Hira's going to be seen as a huge comp threat. He
Wow.
better watch out.
This could be it for Sheldon.
Man.
Things changed on a dime in Big Brother.
Just
My
like that.
God.
Maybe
That's
maybe
nice.
Things
Sheldon.
change on a toonie in the Big Brother Canada house.
He is an athlete, but maybe he's just not great at the the balancing, the slip and slidey balancing. Hira, he's just got the skill. All right, here we go. Nomination
Show the keys.
ceremony. So I have to imagine, right? Now I think the one saving grace for Sheldon and Brooke at this point is that the bull is still in the game. He did. Now, granted, he did just target. He put Hira on the block. Actually,
Yeah, he did.
he went straight at Hira. Hira won the veto. So I have to imagine that Hira is a little more concerned with Chris, the bull, than he is with Sheldon and Brooke. Even though Sheldon and Brooke just turned on him and the evictors. And in fact, maybe Hira is thinking, Sheldon and Brooke, they've got a problem with Rianne and those guys. I've got a problem with Chris. I can leave Sheldon and Brooke to the evictors. I got to focus on Chris. That's, I think, Hira's best move at this point, Brent.
Then
Yeah.
who's next to her then? Angie?
Angie or Sue, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would probably lean more towards Sue myself. They've shown a reticence to use like pawns. They're more likely to use people that they actually like have a little bit of a relationship with. Not that he doesn't have a little bit of a relationship with Angie, but like I don't know. Like I was screaming at the TV for like a month for people to use Angie as a pawn, and they never would. So whatever.
All right. So key number 1, John Luke, you are safe. Maddie, you are safe. Sheldon, you are safe.
Okay, so we're seeing that.
Rianne, you are safe.
That'd be Brooke.
Sue, you are safe. So the
Brooke?
final 3 here: Brooke, Angie, and Chris. I definitely feel this is Brooke that is safe.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gotta
I would
be.
agree. He's not gonna like keep Sheldon off the block and nominate Brooke.
I mean, he was very close to Brooke. Maybe he feels really hurt by Brooke going against them in the vote. That's the only explanation I can think of. But my better guess is that this is Brooke.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
are safe.
Chris and
that
Angie.
means Chris and Angie have been nominated
Finally.
for eviction. So I guess.
Wow, no one likes each other in this house.
Yeah. Angie didn't want to be nominated, but understands because she's the pawn. There you go. That's perfect.
Well, it's interesting the way that Hero phrases this. Chris, I do not like you at all. Angie, it makes sense to nominate you since we don't get along. It feels like the same things being said, but in two very different ways.
Also, like Hira gets along with everyone.
Yeah,
so I don't
yeah.
know.
Thank
The
you.
reasoning is really off and does not track with everything that I put.
Just seems
but
like everyone's
sometimes.
really petty, according to Brantsteele.
Yeah.
I do not like you at all.
All right, so we get to the veto draw. Hira gets house guest choice and selects Sheldon to
Wow.
participate. Interesting.
Well, I'm wondering if his goal is to keep Chris on the block, you think Sheldon's probably the best chance of preventing that from happening? Maybe JL?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you know what? I bet that clearly this vote discrepancy did not cause a divide here between Sheldon and Hira at the very least. We saw the alliances didn't shift, which means that Sheldon and Brooke managed to maintain their relationships somehow. I don't know exactly how.
Maybe that's why Sheldon got out of the 6 is because he knew already he was going to vote against Rhiannon. So he's like, all right, I'm not formally in an alliance with them.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably maybe the evictors are a little more angry, but Hira is kind of like I said, maybe Hira is kind of like, you know what, I'm fine. They didn't turn against me, they turned against them, and that's actually good for me because I can play the middle here. And so he's trying to maintain his relationship, he's trying to keep peace. Hira is the bridge between Sheldon and Brooke and the evictors now, trying to keep everyone calm while they continue to go after the main target, Chris. All right, so Chris is going to draw Maddie, and Angie draws Jean-Luc.
I feel like this is not a good draw for Chris.
It's not a great one. You have to compete against Hira, Sheldon, and Jean-Luc. That is a rough draw here. So the veto competition is night moves.
Ooh, the infamous I screwed you and your partner challenge from BB6.
Yes.
Yeah, you sealed my fate. No, I sealed your partner's fate.
Oh, so good.
So good.
So good.
Oh, so good.
So Maddie's out first, followed by Angie, and then Hira, which means the competition is going to come down to Jean-Luc, Chris, or Sheldon. Can Chris win a veto and save himself? And if so, what would happen? I have to imagine Sheldon and Jean-Luc would both leave things the same.
Yeah.
By the way, before you reveal this, just humor me for 1 second about that. I sealed your partner's fate. I didn't seal your fate. Don't we think he made a mistake on that? Because Eric was always gonna, or what's his name? The guy he targeted.
Eric.
Cappy. Yeah, you're right,
yeah.
Eric.
Cappy. I was trying to remember his nickname. Sorry, Cappy. Cappy was always going to be like the biggest, massive, angry target in the house, and Maggie
Maggie was far more dangerous.
Nothing, exactly. So
Yeah, but worth it for that line, though,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, it's
Wait, I thought you were talking about the actual
Feels-
line, because I would agree with that too. I think that while it was great TV, the actually letting her know that he knows about the partner thing, it was such a fun thing to watch them all figure it out. And while it was good to have it all be revealed at the time, it did sort of make things a little bit stagnant because everyone knew who was with everyone at all times.
Yeah, we knew that. I was just my issue was the fact that I think he made a clear mistake in going after Cappy here.
Especially because didn't Maggie won HOH the very next week? So to your point,
it perfectly represents Kaser in the game, though. All-time character, really smart guy. He comes up with great lines. He sounds really great, but terrible player. It's like he created a lot of great moments.
All the people who live and breathe RHAP are like, yes, Taryn, yes, finally somebody says it about Kaser. And then all the casuals are like, how dare you?
I feel like it's pretty commonly accepted.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where at the time, Kaser was just so beloved that people sort of equate popularity with being a good game player, when that's very clearly not the case. Dude got evicted 3 times pre-jury in 2 seasons.
And as time has gone on, 20 seasons of Big Brother US, 8 seasons of Big Brother Canada, to keep targets like Cappy in the house because he's never going to be able to hide. You're always going to have that in front of you. Somebody's always going to be worried about him. You want to keep targets the same reason Chris is in the house, same reason people same reason they kept Min for a little while, because they love keeping people like this who cause a lot of attention so that they can hide behind them.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway,
so the veto competition comes down to Jean-Luc, Chris,
So the veto.
or Sheldon. In third place is Jean-Luc. So it's coming down to Sheldon
high stakes.
or Chris. Can the bull save himself? No, Sheldon.
So close for Chris.
Sheldon has won the golden power of veto.
That's his first veto, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Sheldon's first veto win. It's the veto ceremony. Chris and Angie stating why they should be saved. Chris just congratulates Sheldon on winning, and Angie makes a joke for a speech.
Okay.
I don't know if that is a description or a dig.
Yeah, exactly. Her speech was a joke.
A joke of a speech.
We just broke Brent.
I think so.
Because I didn't read it that way, and then you said it, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so good.
So I have to imagine Sheldon is not using the veto here. He was chosen by Chris. He was chosen by Hira. No need to piss Hira off. And you like, what is Hira going to do if he's not going after Chris? He'd probably just go around and take and put Brooke on the block if he went against his will, right? So. There's no reason to expect the veto is going to be used here, right?
Correct.
Right. A little bit of mutually assured
Come
destruction
on.
there. Of,
Come
like, you
on,
use it, I put it
simulator,
to
makes
close
sense.
ally.
All right, Sheldon decides.
I can tell when Taryn's always
Sheldon uses the veto on Chris.
Oh my god!
Sheldon, I hope you return the favor. If I'm in this spot next week, you might be, Sheldon.
Holy crap!
Wow.
So
Everything's happening.
I will say that if this were to happen, like I feel like that Sheldon is keeping Chris in the house because he needs another big target in
This
front
is
of him.
the Bruno move.
Yeah.
Bruno
That he's
saving
worried
Zach,
about
yeah.
his own safety. Like he sees the train coming and is trying to throw up targets in front of himself. And he thinks that one of two things. One, that either Brooke will not be used as like he thinks that who's the HOH? Sorry,
Hira.
Yeah, sorry. He thinks that Hira's bluffing. The Hira will not put Brooke on the block as the replacement nominee. Or he's not that worried about Brooke. He thinks that the House would never evict her anyway. So we'll see.
I mean, Brooke is very close with Hira. Maybe if Sheldon is able to make this seem like a wild card move, maybe Brooke is like, what? No. And then Hira is just in enough shock that he's like, I can't just throw my friend Brooke on the block. I don't know if she was in on this.
That's a good point because like when shit like this happens that people don't know is coming, they sometimes don't make the move that you would expect them to because they don't know who was in on the plan and they can't and they don't have the self-awareness to ask in the moment. Like they have all the time in the world, but they feel the pressure of it on them and they just say a name, and then once they say a name, it's done.
So it's our assumption then that Sheldon did not tell Hira he was going to do this ahead of time, that he sprung this on him in the veto meeting.
It is certainly possible that Hira wanted this to happen, I guess. Maybe he's made a deal with Chris and Sheldon, and he wanted to backdoor someone. It's hard to see that, but maybe the replacement nominee will shed some light. My guess is if this was a shock, then he kind of just like panics, throws Sue on the block, or
puts himself up.
Maybe Brooke.
They don't allow that. I heard that.
If this was a plan, though, who is the backdoor target? Is it John Luke? Like
I was gonna say, like the only way that John Luke could be the target is if that Sheldon and Brooke have convinced Hira that the evictors are a problem and that he's not part of them.
That's true. They are looking really strong.
Very strong. Joker's is going crazy.
Yeah, they tried to get rid of Rianne and it didn't work. And so they've been spending all week long working Hira, saying that, a shot has to be taken. It's not really in Hira's wheelhouse to betray his allies like that, but he was getting more and more devious as the season went on. We're a few weeks in now. At this point, maybe he's a little more willing to do something like that.
People are panicking for the button.
All right,
Taryn.
here we go. Hira is going to replace Chris with Rianne.
Wow.
What?
He turned on the evictors.
Wow.
And Rianne doesn't mind.
All right. Well, she's like, it's cool.
I'm sorry, Rianne. I respect your game, but I have to do what's best for mine. Rianne does not mind. She understands. So Hira has turned on it. So it's clear to me now why Hira was cool with Sheldon and Brooke voting Rianne out. Because clearly they have turned him against Rianne, right? Yeah. That maybe Rianne in her campaign to stay screwed up. And she trash talked Hira. She made an alliance with Chris or something, right? Like she did something like her and the evictors did something nasty in order to get her to stay, to have the votes, or made a deal with Sue, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I could see
Hira.
very much the evictors being like, okay, we'll make a Final Four deal with you, screw Hira. And Hira finds out about that and he's PO'd and decides like, okay, I'd rather take my chances with a bunch of wild cards than be guaranteed number 4 in this pecking order.
Yeah. And so that combined with the fact that, like, numbers wise, the shot has to be taken at some point, especially if they now have some kind of deal with Sue or something else, that Hira had decided he was going to fake go after Chris and Angie, and then make a deal with Chris, I imagine, and turn around and stab the evictors in the back. Interesting that he goes after Rianne. That really says to me that Rianne was the spearhead of, you know, something shady that went down last week that when she was on the block.
So then in that case, does Maddie approach Hira during the veto competition and say, like, oh, good thing my fate's not sealed? And Hira says, I'm sealing your partner's fate behind her back.
That definitely happened. All right, house events. After borrowing an item from Brooke, Maddie accidentally breaks it.
Hope it's not her glasses.
The ego of Maddie is rubbing the house the wrong way. See, this is the problem. The evictors have gotten too, like, we see how they're acting on social media outside of the house. Yeah. They got out Vanessa. They're feeling really high on themselves. They got Rianne stayed over Min Lee. They got Min Lee out, and now they're just feeling themselves. They're feeling like I've got this. Then Rianne is betrayed, and now Maddie is, you know, Maddie from the week that Michael got evicted all over again. She's running around the house screaming at people. She's bleaching her yellow pants. It's not great. It's not great.
Then in this case, so I guess, do we think, like, are they going to see the plan through to completion? Do you think, because it's 6 people voting, so it's 4 to evict, 3 to tie. You assume that Hira breaks the tie to evict Rianne, given the situation.
You would assume that Sheldon, Chris, and Brooke are all in on this plan. You've got 3 votes locked at least. You break the tie, you evict Rianne, as long as nothing changes. But, you know, things change in Big Brother.
Brantsteele is going to Brantsteele.
Rianne gives a casual speech on
so
eviction
once
night.
again, like, they're just shout outs.
Yep. Angie gives a long speech, which I also feel is definitely something that can
Well, at least
happen.
it's not a joke this time.
All right, the house guests are going to vote. Let's start with John, Luke, and Maddie should be locked in votes. I don't think they go with the house, just like with Michael. John Luke votes to evict Angie. Maddie votes to evict Angie. Okay, so then let's move on to
You're looking for a vote that you can reveal.
let's what does Sue do? Is Sue where does Sue stand in all of this? Sue has decided to evict Rianne.
Yeah.
All right, so that means Sheldon has decided to evict Rianne.
4 to 2.
Brooke evicts Rianne. Chris evicts Rianne. Yes.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's it for
The
Rianne.
evictors got completely blindsided in the course of 1 week.
By a vote of 4 to 2, Rianne, you have been evicted from the Big Brother house. She wishes everyone good luck and leaves.
Aw.
Yeah.
Oh.
Honestly, this feels right to me.
Yeah,
The
it
evictors
does.
get a bunch of
Feels real.
power and then ruin it. Like
It feels like they're like the fat cat, like all fat and happy, and they're living life, and they're in the HOH room, or they're living in whatever room they're in, and Hira sees it, and Brooke and Sheldon get in his ear, and he realizes that he's not in that 3, that those 3 are always going to be those 3, and you know, I can definitely see this happening.
Yeah, Nikki says, and suddenly Brooke and Sheldon are back in a good spot. Yeah, that was well played.
Their plan finally worked this time. They got Rianne out the second time.
Yeah. All right. So we head into the next week that Rianne has now joined Min and Vanessa in the jury house. We're getting a jury segment here. Vanessa and Rianne have been arguing, Vanessa and Min Lee have been arguing. Vanessa says, "You screwed me over. It's all your fault that I'm here." And Min's like, "No, why did you tell me lies? Why did you lie about everything in the house? And I couldn't trust you. It wasn't my fault." And she's like, "No, you outed everything that I told you."
And then Rianne appears like, "Hello, ladies," just in the middle of it all. Hi.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
They're like,
Hope
what?
you're
How did this happen? She's like, oh, you know, Hira betrayed us. What?
Yeah, Min's pissed because Hira didn't betray her then the first time, and that's how she's here.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on. Alliance
Ooh.
events. 4 out dissolves.
4 out dissolves.
Yes. So
It
that's
dissolved.
no longer a
I had
thing.
forgotten about it.
Yeah. I think that's a little late for that dissolving, but that's fine.
Right.
Next HOH competition is BB Rager. The house guests stand on one end of a balance beam, and on the other end are 6 kegs. They must travel across the beam and grab a keg and bring it back. The
Like
first
a pretty cheap challenge.
house guest to bring all 6 kegs will be well. Look, they're low on staff. They need.
Right.
Spend all their
Mike, you're
money
so
on bathtubs and chess pieces.
You're so judgy, Mike.
I know. The comps have been great so far. It's just weird that it's like transport 6 kegs back. Like at least make it like 12, you know?
Okay, so this is interesting. John Luke has thrown the challenge.
Why?
He does not want this HOH. Interesting.
Well,
That,
he has been in with Brooke and Sheldon. I know he
That's
was on the
true.
other side of the vote, but he feels like, he has a good relationship with them. But he shouldn't really feel safe here.
Well, I mean, for sure, Brooke and Sheldon, Squadron Midnight is still a thing, and like now with Rianne gone, they're telling John Luke like, you need to jump ship, you need to come with us. Like we've got you. We made sure. You know what? We're the reason Hira didn't not backdoor you, and instead he went after Rianne. And
Yeah,
so
this is all the stuff we miss. Yeah, like
Yeah.
because I know that people are like, my first thought at looking at this is like, this would never happen, but this could happen, and I know the universe where this happens because all of the little things that happen along the way that are frankly not in this simulation that are because humans have feelings and they have weaknesses and pride and ego, and they fall for traps like this, and people don't pay enough attention to them on one day. They think they're getting distant from them, and you have to maintain relationships in the Big Brother house, and if you don't, things can change, and I can see something like this happening.
Yeah, and we saw John Luke's reaction to losing Michael when Michael was backdoored. His initial reaction was to really separate himself.
Yeah, he was like, girl, bye.
Yeah, Maddie and Rianne. So,
Well, plus, I mean, if he's also feeling like it's him and Maddie, maybe he's trying to downplay his comp status as well of like, what have you done for me lately? Who knows? Maybe people whispered in his ear right before the HOH of like, you don't need to win this.
By the way,
Like, keep yourself low.
Taryn, did you read John Luke's AMA? Did he address because after Michael left, he did kind of distance himself from the evictors. Did he talk about that at all in his AMA? Sorry, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I didn't read it myself, so I was wondering if you had.
I don't remember seeing much talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
I don't think
like,
it was. I don't think it was asked of him.
Okay, because
Yeah.
my only point in asking this is that from what I've seen, it seems like John Luke has been like, sort of acting like he was with the evictors the whole time with the, this and all the crossing the fingers and all that. And we know that that's not true. Like he was doing stuff behind their backs. So
He did say that he
it.
was loyal to Squadron Midnight, and that he didn't plan on turning against them, until like the very end. Like it would have been Squadron Midnight plus the evictors at the end in his mind. And so that's and I think that's pretty accurate to what things would have been. But for whatever reason, he has decided now to throw this this HOH. Maybe when the move happened, Sheldon and Brooke actually brought him in on it, and he made a deal with Chris and Hira as well, and so he feels like now is not the time for me to make waves. So he's throwing this competition. Angie is going to come in last after John Luke, followed by Sue, and then Maddie, and the top 3. Brooke, Sheldon, and Chris. Ooh. These guys are just killing the competitions, which I think is fair, especially considering the layout of these many physical competitions here.
Come on, we have to have a. Well, yeah, actually, any one of these three people could win. But in my mind, I'm like Sheldon has to win this. But maybe
I don't know how much I bet Brooke on carrying kegs, so I don't know what her chances are here.
Yeah, I don't think Brooke is gonna do super hot here. So it should be coming down to Sheldon and Chris. But let's see, in third place is Brooke. Yep. So
Respectful finish. So.
Again, coming down to Sheldon or Chris. Sheldon just used the veto on Chris, so he's got to feel pretty confident with him. And at the same time, I feel like it's been a little while. I feel like Sheldon can win. And feel okay about that. I feel like this is a time for him to win and use his power wisely and take control of the game as they enter sort of like the a bit of the final stretch here. Yeah. I'm getting requests. Should I click on second place before the winner?
Yeah, I was
feel
like,
clicking
why? I said why.
Yeah.
That's so dumb.
No, let's just see who won.
Yeah, we want to
Who
see the
won?
winner's picture when we
Yeah.
announce it. All right, so the winner is Chris.
Wow.
So
Chris
Sheldon.
is doing well in this game.
Well, I think it's
Yes.
just them saying like, "Hey, Chris, you got nominated. Great. Here's your next target. Go have fun with that, buddy."
Yeah. So there you go. Sheldon finishes in second place. Chris has won. Did Sheldon throw this one to Chris, or did he try and lose?
Sheldon, I know this is a bit of a cross-show comparison. Sheldon's reminding me a bit with these challenge performances of like Yule from Survivor Cook Islands, of like, I'm going to do well enough just in case someone like Chris loses, but in any case, I'm going to have him win so that he's going to be the one that's known more as the challenge person than I am.
Yeah, which I think is pretty smart here. Now he just has to be a little bit worried about like Chris has to go eventually if he's winning all these comps. If Chris is the comp beast and not Sheldon, then that's he's got to work on the jury stuff. But Chris is our new head of household. And where is Chris gonna go? So obviously, Hira just nominated Chris.
Yeah.
But Hira chose Sheldon to play in the veto. Then Sheldon vetoed Chris off the block, and
But we
Hira
don't know.
turned on his allies.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say,
Maybe you know what? Maybe it was a Jamaica situation. Maybe Sheldon was just so imbued with faith in that moment that he's like, well, Chris chose my ball, so therefore I must play the veto on him if I win.
well, no, Hira chose Sheldon to play in the
Oh,
veto.
Hira chose Sheldon. Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot about that. Yeah.
So yeah, what we don't know is, was Hira brought in? I mean, he was clearly in on it to some degree because he turned on on the evictors. But does Chris actually want to go with Hira now, or is Chris going to maybe turn on Hira, thinking, you know what? We might have made a deal last week, but he did put me on the block, and he is still my biggest competition. So should I take a shot here?
Oh my
What
God,
do we
so
think? What is does he take the shot?
Yes, Chris has never shown an ability to hold back, in my
No,
opinion.
do it. I want him to do it.
Yeah.
I think so too. I think he made a deal with JL, and that's why JL felt safe. And I think he's gonna go right back after Hira, and it's gonna prove to be a really bad move for Hira last week.
Was it going to be Hira and Maddie?
Hira and Maddie, that makes sense to me. Hira, yeah, because he doesn't want to use Angie, right?
Yeah.
So
Or Sue.
yeah.
He
Yeah,
wouldn't use
Hira
Sue.
and Maddie, that makes sense to me. All right, key
Not
number
based
one.
on what we know.
John Luke, you are safe. There it is. Sue, you are safe. Sheldon, you are safe. Angie, you are safe. So it comes down to Brooke, Hira, and Maddie. And
Brooke will be safe.
Brooke, you are safe. So
Wow.
spot on. Hira and Maddie have been nominated.
Same
for
reasoning.
eviction.
Yep.
The reasoning is usually pretty dumb. All right.
All right, I'll be right back.
All right. So here we go. Veto draw. Chris draws John Luke.
Okay.
Hira gets house guest choice and selects Brooke to
Okay.
compete. Interesting. And then Maddie is going to draw Sue. So interesting that Hira still feels this good with Sheldon and Brooke. So clearly,
Despite Chris just nominating him.
Clearly, Sheldon and Brooke are saying, "Oh my God, this guy tricked us. The bull, he's such a wild card. We gambled on him, and he's already gone rogue. What are we gonna do? Just we gotta save you, Hira. We've gotta make this work." So Hira feels like I'll choose Brooke, and hopefully it's a mental veto, and she'll be able to win and take me down, and then we'll be okay. But I have to
In
imagine.
retrospect, do we think that the whole Hira Chris thing from last week was a bit of like a Dan and Ollie thing? Do you think Chris promised Hira the moon of like, if I win HOH, like you get to pick the nominees, and so Hira allowed the back door to go through, and then once Chris actually won, he just went back on his word?
Yeah, I bet it was something like that. Yeah, like he promised him the world, and he immediately went back on it. And he was like, "Here, I'm sorry. It's this is just what had to happen. It's look, it's you. If only you could understand. If only you would let me in your brain, you'd understand." So I feel like Brooke is throwing this veto. I don't think she wants to win and have to make a decision here.
All All right, let's see what it is.
All right, it's corridor. The house guests
Okay.
stand on a game board set up in the backyard. The goal of the game is to make it from one side of the board to the other. They can move in any direction or place a fence between spaces in order to stall their opponent's progress. So it was kind of a mental comp here.
Yeah, so we'll see if that does well with Chris. That might help someone like Brooke if she decides to go for it. But looks like our old friend Hero the Veto King, this was not his comp.
Oof, yeah, Maddie finished last, followed by Hira. So Hira is not going to be able to save himself for the third time. Chris also is going to finish
HOH
there
and Noms
in
all
fourth.
finished in the bottom 3 here.
All right, so Sue, John Luke, and Brooke are in the top 3. I think at this point, it's looking like Hira's only hope is that Brooke does pull this out and is willing to use it on him. I'm not sure how else he survives here unless John Luke goes back on the deal with Chris. All right, third place is John Luke. It comes down to Sue or Brooke. Does Brooke even want to win? And if she does, will she use it? No, Sue has won the veto.
Okay, okay.
Oh yeah, I think Brooke. Oh man, I just lost. Oh
Yeah.
crap.
She puts up a
Sorry,
fence in front of
Hira.
herself, like, oh no, I did that by accident.
Whoops.
No, I really wanted to save you and ruin my relationship with Chris. I really wanted to. Oh man, what a shame. So Hira's gonna congratulate Sue on winning the veto. Maddie says, "I'm a loyal player. Work with me." All right. So what is Sue gonna do here? I imagine she leaves it the same, but
I imagine she leaves it the same.
Yeah.
But in a world where she doesn't, then why would she?
I don't know. We now live in a world where Sheldon used the veto on Chris, so really anything's
I can
possible.
see that
Anything.
though. I see that because I've seen that before, and and I've screamed at people to do something like that before, where they may not. Basically, they're somebody who is not their natural ally is going to be evicted, and they need to keep them in the game in order to save themselves down the line. Like I've asked people to do that before, so I can see why Sheldon would have done that. Something like this, though, maybe I can't find enough of a reason for it to at least bring it up right now.
Yeah, like maybe she wises up to Sheldon and Brooke.
That would
and
be if they got caught.
Yeah. That's the only thing. That's the only reason I can think of as to why
Let
she
me
would
be
use
more
it.
clear. Yeah, it's not just that they got caught, because everybody knows that Brooke and Sheldon are together. It's that if they begin to realize that they are the power center of the
Yeah.
house and are the threat to win the game.
And something needs to be done now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what does Sue decide to do? She has used the veto on Hira.
Yes. Wow, she has an unbreakable relationship with him.
That that has developed over the course of this Brantsteele.
Yeah,
I think
Taryn,
so.
what did you put in there?
He didn't. I don't think Taryn did it. Like this is
No,
the
yeah.
computer. Like
Oh,
did
I'm
not.
just kidding.
I
don't-
love it. I love it so
But
much. All right, let's
that's
try to talk through this then. So what happened?
Oh man. Well, okay. So clearly, Sue has been working on her relationships, and she feels like she can't have Hira leave yet. She was probably trying to convince Chris, don't do it. Like, we need to work with Hira. You need to do something else. And like usual, Chris is ignoring her. You know, she got through to him that one time when she got Min out, but this time he was like, no, I got Min out, and that got me in trouble. I'm not listening to you again. So she's trying to get him to go after somebody else. The question is, who is she trying to get him to go after, and what does he do if this happens? So I think this could be it. This could be the moment. Maybe she has convinced him. It's not Hira that we need to be worried about. It's Sheldon. He's constantly coming second to you in competitions. I'm telling you, we got to take the shot.
Oh, that'd be amazing. I don't think it's gonna happen, but it'd be amazing.
All right. And what's the guess? Mike, who you got here?
What if it's John Luke? What if
It
it's
could-
just being like, we need to finish the job with these evictors. Let's put JL and Maddie up against each other, so like there's a guarantee one of them is gonna go home.
Yeah, I think if it's not Sheldon, it has to be John Luke. And I guess the reasoning would be that Sue just doesn't have a relationship with them, and so she really wants it to be John Luke and not Hira. And so maybe Chris and Sue were arguing like, No, and this is essentially the argument that Chris was having with Vanessa when the season was canceled, which was Chris was saying it has to be Hira, and Vanessa was saying it has to be Jean-Luc.
Right.
And maybe he was having a similar argument with Sue, and she just decided to force the issue here, which I actually could see happening. That is kind of what Sue tries to do. So,
the chat is like they're talking about a potential backdoor for Angie here.
Yep. Shades
Angie
of
needs a
Diamond
back
Power
door.
Veto putting up Sheriff
otherwise
Kathy.
she's gonna be there forever.
all right, so
Watson is like, imagine planning a backdoor for Angie. Girl.
all right, so Mike, you say JL,
Yeah, I say JL. I'm locking it in.
Melissa.
Yeah, I think so.
3 for 3.
Yeah, I think that's the more likely option, but I would also, I think there's a chance it's Sheldon, but I think I've been talked into JL. Chris has decided to replace Hero with Jean-Luc.
Yeah.
I saw the picture, and for a second I was like, Dane?
Dane comes in like Emmett or Dan style, leaves like his bracelet on Chris's HOH
No, his
dresser.
his teeth.
Yeah.
I love
His
my
tooth.
tooth on the dresser of the person who I think is gonna win.
Oh, man. So Jean-Luc has been backdoor. He felt so safe. He threw the competition.
Wow, you never throw it.
Oh. This is
I
exactly
never-
what happened to Min. She threw the competition the week she left.
That never happens on Big Brother
Overconfident
Canada.
people.
Oh, so that just like that, the last two evictors are on the block next to each other, Jean-Luc and Maddie. Oh boy, this does not look good for Jean-Luc. All right, here's some house events. Brooke attempts to blame and call out Chris for certain actions in the house and how Chris deserves to leave. Maybe Chris is being a little creepy towards Sue or something. And
He can be like
Brooke,
that.
Brooke decides to step up and say something.
Say that.
A banner flies over the backyard. This does not happen in Big Brother Canada that often. Chris is not to be trusted. I could definitely see Chris as the villain of the season at this point.
Oh, at this point, absolutely. Especially considering if he just turned on Hira, that the deal that they made, like I think that's peak Big Brother Canada villain.
Yeah.
Agree.
We got a flipped mattress.
From
Oh, boy.
Angie.
Angie, you go, girl.
And
He's
then
like, you think you've been sleeping on me all season? I'm gonna
no.
flip what you sleep on.
Angie is becoming makes an inappropriate comment while having a conversation.
I think this is part of a task.
Yeah, I think she got a task from Marsha the Moose. I think that's what's happening.
Angie, act like a freak for the week.
All right, so let's get to the vote.
I love
here.
these house events. They're my favorite part. They're just so weird.
Jean-Luc says, "I'm a loyal player." Maddie says, Maddie gives a long speech. That's she's reading off her list of shout outs and talking about how coming here she's the true winner because she found love.
Sorry, the words weren't big enough. I thought it said Maddie gives a king speech.
A king's speech.
Yeah, she's stuttering the whole time.
All right, so we have 5 votes. 5 votes. I have to imagine that Jean-Luc is in trouble here, but he's still close to Sheldon and Brooke. I don't know, like, what involvement do we think Sheldon and Brooke had on this Jean-Luc move?
Exactly. I was going to say, like, if he's going to stay, I feel like he has to have their votes. If they're not voting with him, then, this ain't happening.
Yeah. And like, where does Hira stand? Is Hira with Sue now? Was Sue with Chris on this move? I think maybe we just have to look at these votes and figure out what happened from there.
Yeah, just because you get saved by somebody in a veto doesn't mean that you're necessarily loyal to them. Like, you're loyal to them.
I mean,
at
look
the
what happened to
time.
Chris.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start with Angie. Let's just kind of randomly go through here. Angie has decided to evict Jean-Luc. He's the greater overall threat. Brooke has decided to evict Jean-Luc. Oh
boy.
Oh,
This could be
that's a rough one.
unanimous.
That's a heartbreaker. Jean-Luc, this is a sad eviction.
Jean-Luc, girl, bye.
He had so much faith in his allies, and they are letting him go. He is too great a threat. There's too much. There's not enough time left in the game to keep the Bull and Jean-Luc and Hira all in the game.
Yep.
So Sheldon also has decided to evict Jean-Luc. Hira evicted Maddie. Interesting.
Huh.
So Hira was maybe okay. Well, let's see where Sue was. Sue evicted Maddie.
Wow.
Wait a minute. Was Angie the swing vote?
Angie was the swing vote.
Oh my God.
Swing vote goddess.
Okay, we need to
Angie.
figure out what happened this week.
This is a crazy week. This is the best week so far. With
This
Chris
is-
turning on Hira, then Sue turning on Chris to veto Hira, and then still voting to evict Maddie.
I mean, so definitely Chris wanted Jean-Luc gone. Otherwise, he doesn't nominate Jean-Luc as a replacement, right? So Sue is definitely not with Chris. Chris is probably pissed that Sue used the veto on Hira, and now he's going after Jean-Luc, who is probably somebody that Sue did not want to go home either, but didn't want Hira gone even more. So clearly Sue and Hira are now working closely together. She wants to save Hira. She manages to. They both want to keep Jean-Luc because they need people. They need people in their army. They need Jean-Luc to help them take out Chris and probably maybe Sheldon. I don't know. So at this point, Sheldon and Brooke have decided, nope, sorry, Jean-Luc is too big a threat to leave in the game, and I don't want him helping Sue and Hira. The last thing they need is Hira teaming up with Jean-Luc again. So I think they like the state of the house better with Hira versus Chris and them getting to continue to ride the middle. So they managed to talk Angie into it, which makes sense because they talked Angie into keeping Min over Rianne that one time. So they clearly have some rapport with her still.
Wow. I mean, I guess when the numbers get down small enough, anybody can be an important vote. And this shows right here firsthand with Angie. I guess maybe Sue and Hira didn't realize that Angie would be such a pivotal swing vote, or maybe Angie had them snowed the entire time, considering how manic she's been the entire week.
Well, I think Angie is also with Chris, right? So she's also, it's probably not just Brooke and Sheldon convincing her. It's also the fact that this is what Chris wants as well. By a vote.
I think Angie's winning this. I think we have to
Never.
accept it.
Are we
I
calling
think
it
it's
right now?
happening.
Over
It's
my
happening.
dead body.
Calling it now.
All right, Melissa's locking in the winner pick. It's Angie. By a vote of 3-2, Jean-Luc, you have been evicted from the Big Brother house. This is probably a blindside too. This is probably
But he still leaves the house of good spirits like, okay,
Yeah.
all right. And then
Sounds
just sort of
good.
like stumbles his way out.
He looks up sadly to Brooke, and she just kind of gives him like a little shake, a little sorry shake of her head, and he's like, oh, all right, man, all right, it's been a blast, guys. You got me. I'm out now, and so I got time to go chill in the jury house, and he walks out, and Brooke is crying. She's upset that it had to happen, but the game wills as it does, and so it's gotta happen. But there it is, Jean-Luc heading to the jury house.
Wow. Okay, so what we're looking at right now is potentially Maddie and Hira versus, actually Hira and Sue versus this like Brooke, Sheldon, and Chris, with maybe Angie and Maddie as sort of like hangers on right now.
Yeah, not sure where Maddie stands. Certainly Hira and Sue voted her out over Jean-Luc, but she might still be loyal to them over Chris and Sheldon. Just like, sure, they voted me out because they would prefer Jean-Luc, but it's not because they don't like me. It's just because they wanted Jean-Luc to help them.
Yeah, it was like
which we've seen many times.
It's like when they voted out like in Big Brother 11 when they voted out like Lydia over Jesse, and it wasn't just because they hated Lydia, it's just because like we felt that she was the weaker ally of the two.
Yeah. So we're down to the final 7. We've got Angie, Brooke, Chris, Hira, Maddie, Sheldon, and Sue. Hira and Chris in the lead with competition wins from the simulation forward, which is still pretty accurate. Sheldon in a third place.
I will
there.
say that I've seen people in the chat asking for stock watch ratings midway. I know Adam asking. I will say this, that I am many things. However, I am not going to do fake stock watch ratings on a fake simulation. Like that is a bridge too far, Adam, for me.
I would be really intrigued though to see what the ratings on Brooke and Sheldon would have been during the min leave.
Oh, they would have gone down. That would have been the time.
Yeah, it would have been like a huge crash.
We had no faith, and then they would have skyrocketed the week after when they turned it around. That would have been the big money making thing of the season. All right, so. Here we go. Alliance events.
Chris and Angela break up.
Angie and Chris no longer working together.
She's feeling her power, man. She doesn't need him.
It's time for her to break out and start dominating the season, Melissa.
Yeah. Winner.
All right.
That's how it happens.
Next HOH competition is Bull in a China Shop.
Oh, yeah. I think this is the one that Gina Marie won. In BB15.
How mad is Chris that he can't compete in this one? It's made for him. It's the Bull in the China Shop.
Do you think they made the bull's head his head?
Yeah. So they're standing on a rotating log holding onto a bull's head, and if they fall or let go, then they are out. So
there's 7 people left in the house at this point, correct?
Yes.
So 6 people playing. Okay.
6 people playing. Brooke has thrown this
Again.
HOH, which again kind of makes sense. The position that they're in, if they have 2 sides warring against each other.
That's true.
It's a little risky at this point, though.
I was gonna say like a little risky, and also not that she was like a major, not that she would, dominate any of these competitions. However, she knows herself that she was going to have to win something at some point in order to get the respect to win at the end. So the fact that she's just outright throwing something again and finishes last again, I'm not feeling great about her chances. Especially
if she wants to go to the end with Sheldon. I think that she's got to find some stuff to separate herself from him.
I think she's probably looking to cut Sheldon. I think that that has to be the plan at this point. But I think that the only way I can explain this, I think that she's afraid. She's afraid of having to make the move. She has to either betray Hira or Chris at this point. And they probably both think that she's with them, and she doesn't want to have to be the one to do it. And maybe Sheldon is even saying like it's got to be Hira this week, and so she's like I cannot be the one to do that to Hira, and so she is deciding to sit this one out. But I do think it's a mistake. I think that she's not. This is not a good move here. So Sue is gonna fall after that. Then Angie, who actually managed to get a few places in this time. Good on Angie. And the competition comes down to Hira, Maddie, and Sheldon.
Ooh. If Hira versus Sheldon, this is going to go one of 2 ways. Maddie, we still don't know where the hell she lies. She could be the most interesting one.
All right, let's see. Is Maddie in 3rd place? She's not. Hira finishes in 3rd.
Ooh, let's see a Maddie HOH.
Competition comes down to Sheldon or Maddie. Oh boy,
Sheldon! This has to be
Sheldon.
Maddie.
Come on, Maddie.
You'd think this is Sheldon. Again, this is probably an okay time for Sheldon to win, and just like there's 7 people left in the game after this HOH. It's the final 6. This is the time for Sheldon to turn it on, win competitions, and just take a stranglehold on the game.
Yep, exactly.
All right, so what happens here?
Maddie.
This is exciting.
Maddie,
I don't know. Again, Gina Marie won this comp back in BB15, so it might favor the smaller framed girls, especially if you're just walking on a log.
I think Sheldon tried to win this, and Maddie just beat him. She just beasted it.
And also remember that she just hung on barely. So I wonder if there's some sort of adrenaline pumping as well of like, I need to guarantee I'm safe here.
Yeah.
Comp Queen Maddie.
There it is.
Maddie Giesling survives another day.
Yes, she's the final evictor remaining in the game. She is truly underdog status right now. She pulls out the come from behind win over Sheldon.
And just watch, she targets Angie.
Yeah.
She's like,
my
I
target
gotta
this
get
week.
her.
So what is she
flipped
going
my
to
mattress.
do? So clearly she either goes after Chris, Hira, or Sheldon, I imagine. Like it's one of those 3. They've all been doing really well in the competitions. As long as she's got her own mind, like she has to be thinking like which side do I choose? I feel like it's got to be Chris. It's got to be Chris. He took out John Luke just now. Yes, Hira and Sue voted against her, but it's not like they voted against her for somebody else. Like it was another evictor that was in there. So I think she goes after Chris. She probably puts Sue on the block next to him.
I can see that.
All right. Let's see the keys.
All right.
Key number 1. Sue, you are safe. All right, right away.
Interesting.
Oh, Angie, maybe
You're
Angie.
wrong.
Maybe Angie is the pawn.
Yeah. It has to be.
No, there's no way she puts Angie.
Or it could be the
Well,
two boys.
yeah, because Angie's winning the game. So-
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. She can't see the block. Wait, she did see the block.
Oh, yeah, Angie flipped her mattress.
Yeah, that's what
She's
I
probably not a big fan of Angie. So, all right. Key number 2. Sheldon, you are safe. Brooke, you are safe.
Okay. So
Have
it's
they
not
even
gonna
been nominated yet? I don't think they have.
No.
Brooke was nominated week 1 prior to the simulation, but Sheldon has still not been nominated.
So it's Chris, Hira, and Angie right now that are still not safe.
Yes. I think Hira is safe. I think it's Chris and Angie. That's my guess. All right. Hira, you are safe.
Chris and Angie.
Chris and Angie on the block. Chris, he's starting to get upset. Chris, normally pretty cool, but he's starting to be like, Maddie, I thought that with Michael gone, we were gonna have something.
I gave it a month and nothing's happened yet.
Nothing's happened.
I've been working on this for so long. What is happening here? I gave you a 2-hour massage last night.
Don't worry, Chris is going to be saved and win HOH the next week, so don't just keep repeating again and again.
All right, so veto draw. Maddie is going to get house guest choice and selects Brooke to compete. Okay, so this is clearly why Brooke is throwing the competitions, because her social game is on point.
But she keeps getting picked.
Everybody's picking her to play in the veto because they trust her so much. And so that she's working that, and it's doing well for her. Brooke and Sheldon clearly running this game very effectively. Chris is going to draw Hira. Angie draws Sheldon. Okay.
This is a great draw. If we're accepting this like Brooke, Chris, Sheldon trio, this is a fantastic draw for them.
Okay, yeah. So Chris is going to need a win for himself, or Brooke and Sheldon, they could use the veto on him. It would be...
He already did once.
I know. Another brutal move for them to pull that off after being chosen to play, but we'll have to see. The veto is cat scratch veto. The house guests stand each before the eyes of a cat. Each round, they will give
OTEV.
a word or phrase related to Big Brother. Okay, yes, it's OTEV, yeah. All right, so OTEV... This is it's not Hira. All right, I was gonna say I feel like this is down to Hira or Sheldon, not Hira. So Angie's in last, Maddie's out second, Hira finishes fourth. I bet there was like a big dash to get up the slide between Hira
there was a harm
and Chris, yeah, and Chris kind of shoved Hira out of the way, and so it comes down to Chris, Sheldon, and Brooke. Wow. So I mean, if Sheldon and Brooke are down to use the veto on Chris, then he's already good.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. This could be interesting.
A good spot.
But I guess the question is, would they let him have it, or would they be like, no, let us take it? We promise to use it on you.
Yeah, could they be pulling the Dan Giesling on Frank and talking to Chris and saying, come on, Sheldon is saying, Chris, you need me to win, because if I don't win and you win, then I'll be the replacement, so it needs to be me so that I can use it on you. Oh boy. So here we go. Third place. Sheldon finishes third. So it's coming down to Brooke or Chris in the final round of OTEV.
Is Brooke finally going to win a competition?
Will Brooke win this competition?
No.
Chris
Wow.
pulls out.
Chris wins and guarantees
OTEV.
himself another HOH win next week. He'll nominate Maddie.
Oh God. Maddie made a
man.
mistake.
This has to be
He's got
bad.
Angie on the block.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you know what? This is weird because, okay, so Chris is going to pull himself off. You'd think that Maddie would now target Sheldon and Brooke, but she chose Brooke to compete in the veto, which means she trusts them, which means...
Well, maybe she trusts Brooke.
I was going to say, maybe
That's
she
true.
trusts Brooke.
And so, yeah, she could... This is the make or break point, it seems, for Sheldon, that... have they done enough work on Maddie? Have they gotten in Maddie's ear saying, Hira and Sue, they voted against you. Yes, it was the right move to go after Chris, but with Chris safe, you need us. You need us to go after Chris. And Hira and Sue, they're too close. You're not getting in there, which isn't a great argument for Brooke and Sheldon, but they're dangerous. Like they don't value you like we do. They're gonna take Angie. They like Angie more. I
like Hira and Sue. They're close. Apparently, we just found this out through the simulation last week.
So Chris is obviously going to use the veto on himself. So.
Are you always scared about that when you click that to see if the nominee uses it on themselves?
I sort of accepted it as a given, but the second I started to say it, I was like, wait a minute, I haven't clicked it yet. I shouldn't be so confident. All right, so who do we think Maddie goes after here? She could choose Hira, Sue, Brooke, or Sheldon. Mike, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Sue. I wonder if she has some sort of suspicion that there was this plan to backdoor JL that Sue was in on, considering that she was the one to use the veto on Hira. And so maybe she's like, I want to get revenge on her in that regard.
You know what I didn't consider also is that Angie flipped her bed and got into a fight with her. Maybe she put up Chris and Angie because she wants either of them to go. And so she's looking to put somebody up that will ensure that Angie leaves because she wants Angie gone. And
Melissa's winner pick.
Yeah, no, not happening. I don't see it. I think you're wrong.
Okay, well, who do you think, Melissa?
Well, it could be Hira because Hira backdoor ran, right? So I think there could be some animosity there. But I kind of feel like it could be Sheldon.
Yeah. Brent, what do you think?
I mean, I've come to believe in Brooke and Sheldon this entire time. I think they're going to continue to get their way. I think they'll stay safe here, and it's going to be Hira.
It's going to be Hira. All right. I think she wants Angie out. I'm going to go for it. I think she wants Angie out. And that means she puts up Sue?
Yeah. Yeah, if she wants Angie out, she's going to put up Sue.
If she's going after Angie for this, like for her one HOH,
people are going to be so angry at her.
Right, but
fans will be fuming.
How classic Big Brother is that the underdog wins the HOH and then screws it up by taking out Angie?
Yeah, and we're all cheering, going, woo, she won, yay, the underdog. And then she just takes out Angie and then is out next week. All
right, so Maddie has chosen to replace Chris with Sue. Oh boy. I think she wants Angie out. I think that event.
That event is what is causing this. I love that the chat is just losing their minds, Taryn. They're like every time you're hovering over a button, they're like, "Come on, click it already."
If I was being really realistic, then I would just black out the screen every few seconds for like an hour or two. So
shade.
Some house events. Chris attempts to blame and call out Maddie for certain actions in the house and how Maddie deserves to leave. He won the veto and now he's like, we should have been a thing.
That's exactly. I think he's very much like, she's not receiving my advances. She's not going to give me a massage back.
This is not how you be a game changer.
I have not bent your mind yet, and it's showing.
After borrowing an item from Chris, Hira accidentally breaks it. I think the accidentally in quotes.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we get to the vote. It's Sue versus Angie. Angie says, I'm less of a challenge threat. I'm not a threat. Don't send me home. There's 4 votes.
I mean, you would imagine, I think on paper you would want, Brooke, Sheldon, and Chris to vote out Sue, right? Because they got Angie on their side last week. It would be foolish to get rid of her right now.
Yeah. Well, let's see. It's the final 7. We're heading into the final 6. It would be, if Sue left, then it would be Brooke and Sheldon. It would with Chris kind of on their side, and then you've got Maddie, who thinks she's with Brooke and Sheldon clearly, and then you've got Hira, who I don't really know. Hira probably still against Chris, and then you'd have Sue. I mean, I guess the only danger with Sue, or the danger with Sue, is that she's too close with Chris, right? Or no, sorry, she's not with Chris now. She was with Hira.
Yeah, exactly.
Danger with Sue is that she's close with Hira. So if you take out Sue, then you isolate Hira. You take out a competition threat, and you leave Angie. The reason to take out Angie is maybe that she is such a goat at this point. And if you take her out, then Hira and Sue remain big targets in the house, and there's still enough of a war going on. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Melissa?
Yeah, I mean, I think I do think that well, in real life, I feel like they'd recognize that Angie isn't really a threat, so they would get out Sue. Who knows at this point? But I have faith. I think Angie's gonna stay.
We also have to consider the fact that if Sue really wants Angie gone, then they'd have to, or sorry, if Maddie really wants Angie gone, then they'd have to betray Maddie in order to keep Angie.
Yeah, true. But Maddie's all on her own now.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So let's start with Hira.
Okay.
Who votes to evict Angie? Not surprising. Mm-hmm. Then we would expect Chris to evict Sue, right?
Yes.
No, they broke up, remember?
Yeah.
Well,
Chris and Angie broke up, so maybe he finds himself with Sue now?
He did break up with Angie, but Sue used the veto on his HOH against his will, we think. She's with Hira, so I would imagine Chris is a vote to evict Sue. Let's see. Chris votes to evict Angie.
Maybe it's just unanimous. Everyone gets Angie out.
oh my God, what a dumb week.
So that's it. That's that. If Maddie wants Angie gone, then that's it. We'll have to see. Brooke votes to evict Sue.
A tie.
Sheldon votes to evict Sue. We have a tie.
Oh man.
Oh man, is
Well,
right.
at least some people are using their heads, Melissa.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we explain this Chris voting to evict Angie? He still clearly thinks he's working with Sue. So Sue has managed to get back into Chris's good graces, clearly.
Yeah.
Sue's social game, while iffy at times, has definitely been kicking into high gear. She's been doing pretty well here.
I think it's particularly like, I don't think it's Chris and Hira voting together. I think if they knew they were voting together, they probably wouldn't vote together. I think it's just that they both have to have good one-on-one relationships with Sue, which is why they voted to keep her.
Also, yeah, it could be a situation where Sheldon and Brooke are working with Chris, but they're trying to force a tie so that Maddie has to reveal some sort of, where her loyalties lie or whatever. And then for the jury purposes to maybe ruin her chances.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna have to see. I think there'll be another button, but by a vote of 2-2, there is a tie. Oh crap!
Oh, what's up?
So there you go. Maddie chooses to break the tie and evict Angie.
Melissa.
Wow.
No.
What did you do, Melissa? You cursed her.
I did my classic Melissa reverse prediction because anytime I predict anything, it's always the opposite. So if you didn't want an Angie win, ta-da, I did this for you.
Ta-da! Voila!
Wow. So here we go. Brooke and Sheldon now vote incorrectly. Yes. I have to imagine this, like Chris didn't vote with them. Chris the Bull just went rogue on Brooke and Sheldon. He has broken free, and he's been flipped by Sue, I think.
Maddie saved the season. I'm just saying.
No, in the chat, there's like, it's a waste of, it's a failed HOH.
But at least expose some fun stuff.
He got rid of a goat. We don't have to watch her in the finals anymore.
You know what? We're disappointed in Maddie. Honestly, the fans are all disappointed. Twitter's disappointed. We're saying this was your one shot to get out to break up that big alliance, et cetera, and she's wasted it. This is what the underdogs always do.
I mean, to be fair, it looks like that big alliance broke itself up if Chris and T did go rogue. And who knows? I mean, now it's going to be. I mean, I think it's good that Angie left because this is a really interesting final 6.
Yeah, it really is because, clearly Sheldon and Brooke were able to snow Maddie into thinking that they were with her, but they were not able to convince her to change her target off of Angie, which actually is pretty accurate to how they experienced their time in the game when the season was actually on. And so they clearly thought they had Chris, and I bet I 100% believe that Chris was like, yes, I'm with you, and then secretly had been flipped by Sue, and decided to go and evict Angie instead. So here you go. Now Brooke and Sheldon exposed to Maddie as going against her, and but at the same time, I don't know if Chris is like firmly in a group with Sue and Hira, because Chris and Hira still kind of a weird thing. So I think this is definitely a bit of a mess moving forward.
Also, do you see that Angie leaves the house uneventfully?
I think they go back to their own
Angie.
conversations, and Angie just sort of like slips out undetected.
Bye.
All right. So here we go. The final 6: Brooke, Chris, Hira, Maddie, Sheldon, and Sue.
Honestly, I could see it. Like,
Yeah.
this sounds.
And this is a
sounds
pretty awesome
real.
final 6. Brooke, the only winless person still left.
Mm-hmm.
And that's intentional,
All right.
apparently.
Let's move forward. Alliance events. The 6 has dissolved. They're no longer working together in any capacity. All right. So, next HOH is Soak Up the Sun. The house guests each sit on swings that spin around in a giant sun on the ground. So it's the spinny one.
It's the one where Tyler cheated, right?
It's the one where Tyler did not cheat.
Or when Big Meech got hit by trolls after she puked.
All right. Sue goes down
Oh my
first.
God, Mike! I forgot about that. I gotta watch that because I'm
Followed-
playing with Meech in the sequester video.
Exactly. Now I might just do myself on sequester now by mentioning that about Big Meech.
All right, Chris goes down next, and that leaves the top 3: Sheldon, Brooke, and Hira. I mean, I feel like we've been saying this so often, but this has to be the time for Sheldon and Brooke to win a competition. They are on the bottom now, it
Please.
seems.
Come on.
they
I feel like this is Brooks. I think this is Brooks.
It could be Brooks. I could see that happening. I think Sheldon is a little heavy for this competition, so I'm not sure that he can take this one home. But you never know.
A little heavy.
Yeah. All right. So 3rd place is Brooke.
God damn it.
Comes down to Hira or Sheldon. This could be the game right here. This could be it. It all comes down to this: is who's gonna really take control of the game. Sheldon or Hira. The winner is Hira. Sheldon loses another competition.
Man, Sheldon.
Unbelievable.
This has to be the end for Sheldon and Brooke.
You say
but
that, and
Chris
it's
is still
not
in the
going to
game.
happen.
Chris is still in the game.
Chris is still in the game. I
Yeah.
think they have one more out.
Yeah. Chris did just vote with Hira and went against Sheldon and Brooke, but is there enough trust there? That's the question. Ooh, this is an interesting
I mean,
one.
the 6 did just break up, so I could see a Brooke nomination at least.
And it's been a long time since Sheldon won in HOH, so they may not fear him as much anymore.
He's been coming in second a lot, though.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so here we go.
The keys.
The keys. I feel like he has to still go after Chris. I feel like
I'm
he's been
thinking
going
Chris
after
and
Chris
Brooke.
all season long.
It's Chris and Brooke or Chris and Sheldon.
Yeah.
I could see Chris and Sheldon. I could see that. I think Hira decides to go big. All right, key number 1. Brooke, you are safe.
okay.
'Cause I think he still has a good relationship with Brooke. He's always been friends with her. I think they're still cool. Key number 2. Sheldon, you are safe.
Wow. Okay. Chris and
How
Maddie?
did they pull that off? So it's Chris, Maddie, and Sue. I have to imagine this is Sue.
Yes, it's got to be Chris and Maddie are nominated.
Sue should be safe. She used the
Ding.
veto on him.
Yeah, I mean, come on, this has to be right. Correct.
Key number 3
Sue.
is Sue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chris and Maddie.
Chris and Maddie on the block. So okay,
They're probably
so
trying to target Chris.
right, he doesn't want to nominate Brooke as the pawn. He's still too close to Brooke. He wants Chris gone, and he doesn't want to
even
use
the
Sheldon
speech
as a
makes
pawn. Yes. Maddie, we get along, but I have to do this for my strategy. Yeah, she's 100% just the pawn in order to get Chris out. He didn't want to piss off Sheldon, so he decided to go with Maddie against Chris. And so Maddie not
once again
super
escaped
happy
the block.
Yes, Sheldon still has not been nominated, and neither has Brooke in the simulation yet. But this could still be a danger position here. That if
I'm pretty
Chris,
sure, so we're at final 6. I'm pretty sure no more veto draws. Everyone plays.
That's true. And if Chris wins this veto, I think there's no escaping it. Sheldon is done. All right, everybody left is participating in the veto. Here we go. The power veto is POTV. One at a time. House guests enter the backyard to see a TV screen. They must use different remotes to change the various boxes on the screen so a picture is formed.
This is mental.
What was this from?
Yes. I don't remember what this is from.
I don't remember this one.
They're like creating an image.
Yeah.
All right. So
Sounds fun.
here we go. Maddie is in last place, followed by Sue, followed by Chris. Oof, here we go. This could be it for Chris.
But if Hira wins, could this have been a backdoor plot that we didn't know about?
It could be. It's all right. It comes down to Sheldon, Hira, or Brooke. In third place is Hira. So finally, Sheldon or Brooke will
Win something, Brooke. Come on.
Can Brooke beat Sheldon? The winner of the veto is Sheldon.
Wow. Brooke is probably crying right now, being like, I need to prove something. I need to at least
Poor
win
Brooke.
competition."
Do we think that Brooke is in a unwinnable position now, where she's just surrounded by massive threats, and there's not enough game to get all of them out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think she's in
Especially
trouble here.
if she can't win. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think she's in trouble.
I think that especially with Vanessa on the jury and having not won anything, she's...
And if she doesn't win anything, we assume that she gets brought to the end, right? Because she wouldn't win final HOH.
It's not just that she hasn't won anything; it's that she's surrounded by people who have won stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but it looks good for Sheldon if he can keep getting it down. I mean, the fact that Sheldon and Brooke are escaping eviction this week, I mean, there's a reason they kept the bull around, right? It was so that him and Hira would continue to go against each other. So, all right. It's the veto ceremony. Chris makes a joke, and Maddie says, I've played a more loyal game.
Chris makes a joke for a speech.
Is there any reason for Sheldon to use the veto here? I feel like
it just feels too dangerous to do.
Yeah, like you just let things play out, right? Like, sorry, Chris. I mean, it would be a big betrayal of Chris, but you know what? Chris just betrayed them.
Exactly.
So it's time to let Chris go. Hira can't compete next week. You take out Hira next week. I think this was a big mistake for Hira, but maybe he was in a tough spot, and Chris was always going to come after him anyway. All right, so Sheldon has decided to use the veto on Chris again?
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
I mean,
I didn't know they were so tight.
Oh boy. This is very much a Bruno spot here, because at this point, Chris didn't even vote with him last week.
And Sheldon says, I hope you return the favor of him in the spot next week. And Chris is saying, I am absolutely not doing that.
Yeah,
next
Chris
week.
is definitely not returning the favor. So he's using the veto on Chris.
So Brooke's got to go up.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Because he can't put up Sue.
I don't think he would, yeah.
Yeah, he has to either put up Brooke or Sue. That puts Hira in such a tough spot. This is a massive betrayal of Hira, I have to imagine.
So do you think Sheldon possibly did that? Do you think he wanted to turn his sights onto Hira, and much like we were talking about with forcing the tie against Maddie, say like, I want Hira to break these bonds right now because he has more connections than I do at this point.
I feel like we're really missing the big picture here, and that it's Chris has used his brain transforming abilities on Sheldon. I mean, this is where it all comes into play.
Can't wait for Chris to sit in the final two and actually say that, like, Sheldon used the veto on me twice because of my abilities, my power.
Well, okay, so, Hira is definitely a much bigger endgame threat than Chris, right? Like, you have to... Chris has won a lot of competitions, but I'd feel a lot more comfortable sitting next to Chris in the final two than Hira. And so maybe Sheldon feels like, I've had trouble winning these competitions against Hira, maybe I do need Chris in order to take Hira out of this game. And he's just really, really terrified of Hira at this point.
I mean, I guess, but I still feel like, Hira can't compete next week. So why are we worried about Hira?
Yeah.
Get Chris out now and get Hira out next week. That's what you would do.
Yeah, and he's putting Brooke in danger here. I can't imagine Brooke co-signs this move.
Probably not.
All right, so here we go. Hira replaces Chris with Brooke.
Yeah.
Brooke has been replaced. The replacement nominee.
Brooke doesn't mind though.
I mean, she probably thinks that she has Sheldon and Chris's votes, right? Like she feels like she's good.
Yeah, she should. I mean, she should be good. It should be Maddie at this point.
It should be Maddie, but it should have been Chris.
Yeah,
so.
this is a risky move here. Yeah, I'm having trouble finding the justification.
Yeah,
there is no justification.
There is no justification.
He really wanted Maddie gone. He really needed Hira gone. I don't know.
This is what I hate about the simulation. Like we put effort into it, and we like put the relationships in it, and we know how Sheldon plays, and then this bullshit happens. So I'm sure there's some people that love it.
This is exactly what would have happened. I don't know what you're upset at reality.
I love it personally. I love this.
I know you do.
Nonsense.
I'm glad you do. Thank God you're here because.
All right.
I can't believe Sheldon used the veto on Chris
House
twice.
Events. House events, my favorite part.
After borrowing an item from Chris, Hira accidentally breaks it again.
Okay. All right, now Hira, don't break my other shoe.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I won't.
Wow, keep breaking everything.
Chris and Brooke have a heated argument. That is a
Brooke.
bad time to have a heated argument.
Oh God, Brooke.
Oh man. Oh man, this could be the end for Brooke.
Do you think Brooke is starting to buckle under the pressure? Like, do you think, like we were talking about, you think she's seeing the path for herself and like she's starting to just sort of freak out at the prospect of not winning this thing?
Yeah, I think she's super upset that
Yeah,
Sheldon did this.
I feel like she's upset that Sheldon used the veto on him, knowing that Brooke was probably going to go up in his place, and probably Sheldon's like, no, it'll be fine. But she's upset that Chris has been able to talk Sheldon into this, and so there you go, an argument.
There you go.
Argument.
All right, it's time for the eviction. Brooke gives a short speech to get the voting.
Get the voting. What? Let's get the voting.
Maddie is more loyal than Brooke. All right, here's the vote. There's 3 votes: Chris, Sheldon, and Sue. I mean, we can start with Sheldon. Should be a vote to keep Brooke, but maybe this was a play to get her out at this point. Maybe he knows something we don't about her social game and her jury potential.
See.
Sheldon votes to evict Maddie. All right. Okay. So
should we do Sue next? Because Sue, like, they don't really have a relationship, right? Her and Maddie. It's more so that we're pushing them together because they're not Brooke and Sheldon.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think Sue does what Hira wants. So what does Hira want to do? Does he want to send Brooke home, or did he put her up as a pawn against Maddie? I mean, I have to imagine he's pretty pissed at Sheldon, and therefore might want Brooke to go. But maybe Brooke is pretending that she's now completely against Sheldon. I don't know. Let's see what Sue does. Sue has voted to evict Maddie. So that's
Maddie's
it.
out of the game.
Chris voted to evict Brooke.
Whoa.
They had that argument.
Now Sheldon has to choose.
Wow. So yeah, Sheldon is not working to Brooke's best interests at all at this point, saving Chris
Apparently
from the
not.
block. And Chris is not loyal. Chris feels no responsibility to be grateful to Sheldon. He's decided to go after Brooke anyway. All right. So by a vote of 2-1, Maddie has been evicted from the Big Brother house. She leaves without saying a word.
Nick.
Again?
I know. And this is a problem.
Well, I mean, we talked about it last week. I think she completely screwed herself with her HOH week, and you reap what you sow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this I see no way around it. I think that this has to be like Sheldon just pulled a Kevin Martin. He just he overthought it. He thought this is the right move. I've got to save Chris, but Chris is not as loyal, not as dumb as Sheldon thinks he is, and so he almost trashed his whole game right there, and still might have trashed his whole game right there. But luckily for
Suzanne
him,
is Dylan, but voted the right way in this instance.
right. All right, so we head to our final 5: Brooke, Chris, Hira, Sheldon, and Sue.
Pretty solid final 5.
This is a pretty solid final 5. And Hira cannot compete. So Hira is definitely, I think, the main target
Come on,
here.
Brooke.
All right.
You win one.
Here we go. Big
Oh
opportunity.
my God! Already, she finishes last.
It's the
Easter-themed
chicken wire.
backyard. Oh, yes. There you go. Chicken wire competition. Brooke is in last place. It comes down to Sheldon, Sue, or Chris. In third place is Sue. So this is coming down. It's either Sheldon or Chris.
And they're like, "Who cares? We're working together."
Once again, well, they just voted differently.
Yeah, and Chris could easily turn on Sheldon. He does not give a crap.
Yeah, I think Chris is 100% going after Sheldon if he wins. Although it's Hira still in the game, that's the problem. That's
three
why
major targets in the game.
Yeah, keeping Hira and Chris in the game together has very, very much worked out for Sheldon so far, but we'll see how long it can last. The winner is Chris.
Oh my God, Chris
Yes.
is it.
How many HOHs is that for him now? We've
3.
only been-
3
my
plus
God,
the
this
one
is-
he had before the season
plus-
got canceled.
Oh my God.
Truly the comp beast. Sheldon continuing to finish in second place.
Silver Sheldon.
All right, so I have to imagine this is like
It could be like Hira and Brooke, maybe.
Hira and Brooke, Hira and Sue.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think it's Brooke and. Yeah, maybe Brooke and Hira.
I mean, I don't think he has any loyalty to anybody at this point. I think he's like just
love that.
all out. Like he's truly the bull, truly wild card. Key number 1. Sue, you are safe. So it's either Brooke. If
gonna
this
be
could be
Sheldon.
Brooke and Sheldon
That'd
together.
be crazy. If he doesn't nominate Hira, that's bananas.
Key number 2. Sheldon.
Yeah,
you are
Brooke and
safe.
Hira.
Brooke and Hira are the nominees. So Brooke probably the pawn. You know what? This full circle. These were his initial 2 nominees in the very first.
Oh my
I think he
God.
purposely did that. Like, life is a circle, and so I must embrace that.
Yeah. All right. So
He also says, Hira, we are pretty much enemies.
we are pretty much enemies. Okay, so we get to the veto competition. All 5 people are competing. Brooke is not going to
come on.
win. It's Big Brother Odyssey, 6 Greek archives. They must roll the ball over
Yeah.
the arch 300 times. Oh, it's the ball rolling one.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, I have to. I keep thinking that Sheldon will win these things.
Nope. Just reveal second place right now.
Yeah, reveal
It's
second
gonna
place.
be Sheldon.
Reveal second place.
Second place, it's Sheldon.
Oh my God. Oh my God, Sheldon. What's the deal?
So,
Pull it together.
can Hira pull out the crucial veto? Because this final 5, like, Hira is a very strong contender to win this thing. He just needs to win a couple more competitions.
Mm-hmm.
Can he pull this one out? He does!
Wow.
The Veto King!
So we're gonna have
my
Chris and
God.
Hira in the final 4.
The Veto King! Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
that's his 4th veto, I think, of the season.
Yes, Chris and Hira both in the final 4. Oh, man. Oh, man. And so now Hira will be taking himself off the block. I assume Hira decides.
Is Sheldon finally
use the
going to
veto
touch the
himself.
block here?
So it's either Sue or Sheldon. This has to be Sheldon. I mean, he used
It's
the
not
veto.
going
to
to
be.
be.
He used
Has
the
to
veto.
be,
gonna be.
or I will
It's
leave
not
this
gonna be Sheldon.
podcast.
It's
Has
not
to
going to
be
be
Sheldon.
Sheldon.
It's not going to be Sheldon.
It's going to be Suzanne.
Yep.
Hira has Chris has chosen to replace Hira with Sheldon.
Oh,
Wow.
On the block.
Betrayal.
Finally.
Chris playing the game has put Brooke and Sheldon on the block together. Their
That's
reign
harsh.
is done.
That is so
Wow.
harsh after Sheldon used the veto on Chris twice.
Sheldon uses the veto on Chris to save him last week, and then
And says,
Chris
I hope you
turns
return the
around
favor.
and
Yeah.
puts him on the block next to Brooke.
Oh, I love
He's
it.
like, yeah,
I
sure.
like it.
Chris Wiley is making
Here's
this
your
season for
favor.
me. I love it so much.
Jeez. Wow.
I'm really
Chris
sorry,
Wiley.
Sheldon. I respect
it.
your game, but I have to do what's best for mine. And so Brooke and Sheldon are
Brutal.
on the block together.
It was
House
a good
events.
run.
Brooke makes an effort to improve relationships in the house. However, due to the mental stress of the game, she isolates herself from the rest of the house. She
So I
makes
guess
an effort, it doesn't work out, and then she's upset about it.
So I guess the question is, like, are they going to cut loose the person who's won more competitions or the one who might have better relationships? You know, this is really like the final
Yeah.
two decision that people have been prognosticating is essentially here right now, but in the opposite perspective.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see. We get to the vote, and there are
It's Hira and Suzanne.
2 votes. They give speeches about why they should stay. Brooke says, I'm less of a challenge threat. Sheldon makes a joke.
Sheldon.
I mean, he's not been on the block before. He doesn't know what to do.
First time on the block. So it's Hira and Sue.
You have to imagine they make a decision together, right? Like, I don't think they're going to split the vote here.
You
Well,
would think.
Sheldon's out.
I mean, yeah, they are working together, right? Or they should be.
Yeah, they're
I
best
think-
friends.
But so Hira definitely, he has to be worried about Chris, who's very good at competitions. Like, I could see a situation where Hira like wants to keep Sheldon in order to compete against Chris, because if he doesn't, then Chris will just stomp toward the end.
But he is friends with Brooke.
And here's the thing too, where like Brooke could be seen as like a goat for somebody to take to the end, like Chris. Like if he leaves Brooke in the game, then Chris could just win and take Brooke down to the end. But at the same time, you got Sheldon on the block. He is coming in second place. You take him out now. You have one less person to compete against. And from Sue's perspective, I think even more so. You've probably got to take out Sheldon. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What's the prediction here?
Sheldon has
Yeah, I
to
think
be.
Sheldon.
2-0.
I don't know. I think it's
He's
Brooke.
been winning so much.
I think Sheldon pulls a Dane and pulls like Hira aside and
Yeah.
is like, look at all this stuff I've been studying. I'm going to help you defeat Chris next week. And I think Hira takes that gamble.
It's possible. All right. Hira votes to evict Sheldon.
Ooh.
Okay. Oh, he's here as friends with Brooke, of course. Okay. So, Sue has to make the choice, Sheldon or Brooke. Sue votes to evict. Brooke, it's a tie.
So what's Chris going to do?
A tie? What
Sue
you
has
talking about, a
developed.
tie?
Sue has developed an unbreakable relationship with Sheldon, which was not there when we started.
It's just fake. Yes. Okay.
I mean, maybe
but okay.
Sheldon knew that Hira was going to vote against him, and so he was really campaigning himself to Sue, and it worked.
Yeah, he focused all of his energy on Sue, and that means that we have a tie by a vote of 1-1.
Now, don't scroll down,
I'm
Taryn.
not going to scroll down. I'm just going to press the button. That it's a tie, and so Chris. Oh wait, I think this
I think
Chris
that revealed it.
has to
Chris
break the
votes for
tie.
Brooke.
and he has evicted Brooke
Wow.
over Sheldon.
So the boys are just working together here, I
Mhm.
guess.
I guess.
I guess.
Well, no, it's interesting though, because it seems like it's these three guys trying to use one another to get to like the other person. You know, it just seems
Yeah.
like the three of them are pointing guns at one another, like, okay, I can use you to get to this other guy. And so they've just been doing that throughout this entire game, and Sue's just been there.
The only problem that I have, and I know that you agree with me on this, is that like the time for positioning to me is over. Like you have to make the move at some point. Final four, final five. I mean, like there's times to play it cute, and there's times where you have to just get it done. And this is where you have to get it done. And I don't agree with this.
I mean, we are talking about Chris, the bull here.
Yeah.
I can see Chris doing
even more
this.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you know, with Sue, I don't know what is Sue thinking here. She goes against Hira. She's deciding to get rid of Brooke. Maybe Sue is saying, you know what? I want to lock in my final two spot.
Yeah.
These three guys are not taking each other to the end. If I get rid of Brooke, then
that I can see.
yeah.
That is believable. What is not believable is the these three boys keeping each other this entire
Well,
way.
Hira did try to get rid of Sheldon, and so I think I can see that that Sue wanted to keep Brooke or get rid of Brooke to lock in her final 2 spot, and then Chris the Bull, wants to beat the best. He wants to fight it out.
I heard that happened on another show. To be the best, you got to be the best.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so Brooke walks out of the house calmly, but I bet she's pretty annoyed.
She's probably far from calm internally, considering everything that happened.
I bet she's
devastated.
Yeah, I bet she's like, I cannot believe I trusted Sheldon so much, and he just made that move last week that screwed us, and now I'm the one taking the hit for it. Which honestly, that's what we predicted would happen.
Well, yeah,
right?
that's what that part is true. That Brooke
Yeah.
was always going to take the heat for anything that Brooke and Sheldon did together.
Yeah, all right. Well, here we go. Our final four. Chris, Hira, Sheldon, and Sue.
The BB Can Awards are happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ika's here.
Oh man, this is intense. I think any one of them could win at this point. I think Sue should be locked for final 2. Can she win a jury vote? I don't know. Her social game has been pretty on point. She's been doing some impressive stuff. Then you got Sheldon, second place in a lot of things, has been strategically controlling the house, but made a big mistake last week, and it really cost him, and he lost Brooke. Then you've got Hira, super great guy, super popular, been winning a lot of stuff, great underdog story. If he gets to the final 2, he's got to win. And then you got Chris the Bull, the wild card. He's been saved by Sheldon multiple times, and he turned around and stabbed him in the back. He stabs everyone in the back. It's the Bull. Can he pull this off? I don't know. It would be like Tony winning a Big Brother season, and I'm here for it. So let's move on to our final 4. All the alliances have now been dissolved.
Yeah, exactly. So now it's final 4. It's a free for all.
Every man for themselves here. Before or after is the HOH competition.
Makes sense.
Does make sense. And it's Hira, Sheldon, and Suzanne competing. Third place is Sue.
Is Sheldon finally gonna win one of these?
Sheldon versus Hira. I mean, this is it. This is the game.
Click on second place again.
Second place
Yes.
is Hira.
Oh.
You ruined it.
Oh my God.
Sheldon broke the streak.
We're used to seeing Hira's face, so we clicked second instead, and we gave him second. No, we've screwed him.
All right, well, we know that noms don't matter here, so that Sheldon's guaranteed final 3. The question is, who's joining him?
Sheldon, yes, pulls off the crucial final 4 win, and he decides to keep Sue safe, which makes sense.
Yep.
So Chris and Hira are on the block. He apologizes to Hira and to Chris. He gets along with them both, but they got to do what they got to do. And so we get to the veto competition. Participating is Suzanne. The crucial final 4 veto. Chris loses.
Whoa.
Okay. This is interesting. It's the Big Brother decoder. It's a large wheel with everyone's faces on it, and there's clues, and you have to do all the things.
I think
all right.
Sue gets it.
Third place is Hira. Sue or Sheldon. So either way, Sue will be casting the vote, unless Sheldon changes his mind. The winner of the final 4 veto, Sheldon.
Wow.
Wow,
Yeah, he turned it on when he needed it.
Yes. Okay, here we go. Sheldon wins the veto, decides not to use the veto on Chris this time.
Imagine 3 for
God, if
3.
he
I'm
did
gonna.
it again.
He supports his original nominations, and the final nominees are Hira and Chris. Sue will be making the choice to evict one of them. Chris irrationally lashes out at Hira.
Now that they're finally facing out each other against the block, they're finally going to take out everything that's been bottled up for the past 3 months.
Yes, they're now angry with each other. They're fighting. And so they are competing to see who Sue will evict. They both say, "I'm loyal, Sue. Keep me." Sue casts the sole vote to evict in the final 4.
It's got to be Chris.
It should be, right? I mean, she's been working with Hira, but she voted differently. than him last
gotta
week.
be
The
Chris.
question is, I think, who is she thinking is more likely to take her to the final two? Like, is she wants to guarantee herself final two. So, who do you think is more likely? Like, does she think Chris would take Sheldon, or does she think Chris would take her and evict Sheldon?
And I think another thing is that like she's probably expecting that she needs to be taken, and Hira is a much bigger jury threat.
Yeah. Whereas Chris has stabbed so many people in the back, like you could say there's a lot of flack coming his way from the jury.
Oh man. Sue decides to evict Hira.
Oh.
Everyone's heart breaks.
No.
Taryn has collapsed.
The fourth place robbed G. Otis at Big Brother Canada sans will continues.
Oh,
Yep.
what a run though. Oh man. By a vote of 1-0, Hira has been evicted from the Big Brother. He leaves in good spirits, because of course he
Very
would.
like Kira.
Yeah. Wow.
Heartbreaking.
Our final three: Chris, Sheldon, and Sue. Oh boy. All right.
Wow.
There are no alliances. Final three: HOH. Is this just part one, or is it the whole
Yeah,
thing?
this is part one.
Part
So this
one.
Okay.
is this is the endurance.
All right, part one of the final three HOH. Sue drops first. Comes down to Sheldon or Chris. Sheldon pulls out
Wow.
Sheldon winning when he needs to. Oh boy.
Do you think Brooke was his curse? Do you think he couldn't win a competition until Brooke left, and now he's just winning them all?
Maybe.
Well, he wins part one. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
part one.
Yeah.
Part two. Chris and Sue compete against one another.
Let's see if the mental giant can take this.
Chris
Yeah.
Oh,
wins
wow.
part two.
I mean, I honestly think whoever's winning is taking Sue, so it's really going to be like
Seems like it.
this is a
Yeah.
do or die HOH win, unless for some reason Sheldon and Chris choose to take one another, the veto pair.
Scales of just us.
I mean, this could be for the win. It could be coming down to Sheldon or Chris, or maybe Sue can pull a win out with the social game. That would not be particularly realistic, but this is
Especially on Big
Brantsteele.
Brother Canada. Yeah.
All right, the scales of just us, Sheldon and Chris, compete in the final part of the final HOH, and the winner is Sheldon.
Yeah.
Wow, I was really expecting him to lose. That like he usually does. All right. So Sheldon has won part 3. He now has to choose who to take with him to the final 2. They give speeches about why they should stay. Chris
He's
says,
got to vote out Chris here.
Yeah,
Chris
he's
says,
got
I'm less of a social threat than Sue.
I don't know.
I mean, you got Chris the comp beast, but he's Chris. And then you
True,
got Sue, who knows she hasn't won a lot of things, but her social game has been on point all season long. I don't know.
Go.
What's the prediction here, Melissa?
I think he gets out Chris. I think that,
Yeah.
I just think that if he's facing Chris, then any of the competitions that Sheldon's been winning mean nothing.
Yeah, and he has no loyalty to anybody. He had his eyes on the prize the entire time. He has to take out Chris here.
Mm-hmm.
Hundo.
All right. Sheldon. This is a vote to evict, I believe.
Yes.
Votes to evict Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Ding,
Sheldon
ding, ding,
strategically
ding, ding, ding.
evicts Chris due to having a better challenge game.
Okay.
Some of this English.
All right. By a vote of 1-0, Chris has been evicted
Wow,
from the
what
Big
a
Brother
run
house.
for
Oh
Chris.
He did
Just
a good job. Yeah.
Blowing up this season that we've simulated.
I've got to say, this is Sheldon I think played the better game up to the point where he's really screwed up, but a Chris or Hero win would have been a lot more exciting. All right, so it's going to be Sheldon and Sue in the final 2. Sheldon with 5 comp wins to
Wow.
Sue's 1. Oh boy, here we go. It's time for the jury questions. Sheldon says, I deserve to win. I had a better strategic game. I performed better in challenges. I won 5 overall challenges, and I had a better social game. Sue says, I deserve to win. I survived despite being nominated 2 times. Well, okay, Sue, that wasn't a great speech.
That's sad.
You had all this time to
I
prepare
deserve to
for
win
it.
because I'm still here.
Okay, they question the finalists. Do we see the questions, or do we just move on?
No.
Okay. Okay, jurors vote. This is going to give me buttons, right?
I believe so.
I believe so.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, here we go. The keys
me
are
see-
locked.
I want to see Brooks vote first.
Brooks, vote first. Yeah, is she
Yes.
bitter?
Is
Oh
she bitter?
yeah. Is she bitter?
Because I mean, let's be honest here. Sheldon's winning. The question is by how much.
Okay. Okay.
I'm
Brooke-
thinking 8-1 personally.
Brooke goes up. She's revealing her key. She says, I voted for the person who made the best moves the whole game. I vote for Sheldon to win. Okay. Who's most likely to vote for Sue?
Angie.
Kira?
No, like she voted here out.
I know, but maybe he understands it. Like, I mean, she did work with him for a time.
All right. Hira votes for Sheldon
Yep.
to win. Chris votes
He got to go for
for
Sheldon.
Sheldon to win. Maddie votes for Sheldon to
Wow. Could this be a clean sweep?
win. Angie votes for Sheldon to win.
Wow.
That's it. That's enough votes.
Unanimous.
John
Unanimous.
Luke votes for Sheldon. Rhiannon votes for Sue.
Oh.
There's always one.
Due to a
There's
better
always
story. Do you see that? Due to a better story.
Well, I don't know. Like Rhiannon didn't win any competitions. Maybe she like found solace in what Suzanne was able to do despite not winning anything.
Moving on.
Minley votes for Sheldon. Vanessa votes
Wow.
for
There we go.
Sheldon.
8-1.
Honestly, I could see this result.
By a vote of 8-1, Sheldon, you are the winner of Big Brother Canada 8. Give him the 100K.
Congratulations.
Cue the confetti.
Yeah, the confetti. Wow. I could see this as a result. Honestly, like this whole season played out in a way that like if you had told me this is the way that it played out and on the actual season and I just like didn't happen to catch that season, I'd believe it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, honestly,
I would not.
I
But okay.
I think a lot of this was believable. I think that the big like the huge error in the final 6 or 7 is the most unbelievable part. But at the same time, like, you know, people make dumb moves sometimes. Like other than that, I really feel like there was a somewhat plausible explanation for some of this at least.
Yeah, I mean, what do we think? Like, I think Sheldon's by far the best move. And he also benefited from the fact that Hira and Chris kept winning competitions. But his best move has to be by far keeping the 2 of them in, right?
Yeah.
Because they just kept gunning for one another to the point where Sheldon was putting his neck on the line ferociously by saving Chris twice with the veto. But they ended up being huge risks that worked in his favor.
Yeah, Amon is in the chat, says it took a Brantsteele to get our first black winner of the
Hell yeah.
show.
Yeah,
And I won the draft. Thank you.
Yes, Brent.
that's true.
Brent wins the draft
Brent
with
wins the draft.
My
Sheldon
first
pick.
selection. Yeah.
Oh
That's
man,
good.
if Hira had won, I would have won the draft.
Who had Sue? Was that you, Brent? Or was that you, Taryn?
Couldn't say.
I think Brent had Sue.
I think she. Yeah. I think
Yeah, so
she-
Brent, you were winning either way.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow, Brent. Very impressive, Brent.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. All right.
Proceed, so because we got to see who Canada's favorite is.
Oh yes. Okay. Canada's favorite. Ignore America. Canada's favorite comes down to Hira, John Luke, or Maddie. That makes sense.
Yep, I believe it.
In third place, Maddie. I think she really screwed up her HOH. This, took away some of that underdog status. The fan favorite of the season is here.
Aw.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sounds accurate.
Definitely. There you
That's
go.
some consolation for him.
I would have voted for John Luke for his thick booty that he's talking about on Twitter. You can see that? He's like,
There it is.
people have been saying that I have a flat ass, but I think it's pretty big. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Whatever.
so you can see if you proceed, you'll see the full placements. So we'll see how our final 11 did.
Okay.
And then if you keep going, you'll be able to see the weekly popularity, which should be interesting.
All right.
Oh, Vanessa's way down.
So in the week she's evicted, Vanessa takes a hard fall, as does Rianne. The week where Minlee gets evicted, she gets a huge shot up in
Makes
popularity.
Sense.
Wait, it's week 5 when Maddie wins HOH?
I think so. I think
It might have been.
No, because Angie was already evicted
yeah.
at that point. So Maddie only gets a small bump. Chris gets a huge bump. And then Maddie gets a big bump the week she's evicted. Then Chris was getting a lot of popularity there by the end, but Hira seemed to be at the top pretty much the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Chris went down a lot though.
Oh, that's true. I guess what was that? Was that
35, week 8. What happened in week 8? Oh, that was the week before the final.
Was that the
was
week
that was
when
the final 4 vote?
When he put Sheldon up after?
That's when he took out Hira. Or no, he didn't take out Hira. It was between him and Hira.
Well, remember him and Hira were arguing a lot leading up to the vote,
yeah.
so maybe he just wasn't showing himself in a great light.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. Anything else? All right, we got some stats
I think.
here.
There's actually a voting chart that they assembled. That's fun.
Successful season. I really think I could have seen it played
this
out
is fun.
way.
I like this.
Good.
So Chris was nominated 6 times and was saved with the veto 3 times.
Wow, Chris and Hira both saved by a veto 3 times, but Hira saved himself 3 times. Chris was saved
and they were the
3
only
times.
people who
Or 2
got
times.
off the block with the veto too.
Yeah.
Every other time it wasn't used.
Wow. Chris with the 3 HOH wins.
Yeah, I mean Sheldon, he won every competition after Brooke's eviction. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
He won Final 4 HOH, Final 4 veto, part 1 of the final HOH, and then the final HOH.
Yeah. And then the voting chart. We didn't need to see the voting chart. There you go.
All right, resimulate. Back at it, guys.
Let's get Angie to win this time.
Can we get
one more time?
Can we
simulate?
I was like really riding high for a lot of that season, and then I was let down by the end.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing
Which
about
I
these
feel
Brantsteeles is that with a lot of these Brantsteeles, it's more about the journey than the destination. Most of the time, it's that the outcome is so WTF that it just comes out of nowhere. In this case, it was a bit predictable, but I do feel like the shenanigans that ensued over like the first 8 weeks were just very, very thrilling. And that's what I love about Brantsteele. So I thought I had a great time. I hope you guys did as well, even amidst maybe some of the more nonsensical decisions. But I like to imagine that this is how Big Brother Canada 8 would carry out, mistakes and all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and honestly, that's pretty typical for how a Big Brother season goes. You're just like, oh, really? Oh, we're so excited this happened. I do think I think a lot of that was fairly realistic.
Yep.
I think I think we have we've officially determined a winner. Sorry to Hira, sorry to Brooke, but looks like Sheldon takes it home. I guess that's not super surprising. It's what we kind of predicted.
It's what we expected. It was a windy road to get there.
Yeah, exactly. I do not think I don't think people were expecting Chris and Sheldon to be facing off against each other in the final HOH of who will take Sue to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Did not see that coming.
Man, what a Final Four it was too.
It was pretty good.
I feel like it's always what happens is that like we get like a great section of people. It's like
hell, I would say what a great Final 5, even Final 6.
Yeah, very much so. All right, so that's what we have for the Brantsteele. That's we officially have crowned the winner of Big Brother Canada 8. It's Sheldon. You're welcome, Sheldon, for the additional target on your back in future seasons. when Sheldon plays in Big Brother Canada 9, and people are like, "Oh, he won his season." We watched the podcast.
In honor of the occasion, Sheldon, this is for you. I'm trying to fit my eyes in.
Your eyes.
Oh my God, that's terrifying.
Congratulations.
Thank you guys for sticking with us for nearly 3 hours. I hope you enjoyed the Brantsteele simulation of Big Brother Canada 8.
By the way, remember to announce on Friday. It's not RHAP. Well, it is RHAP related. I don't think you're going to see it on RHAP Network specifically, but Mike Bloom and Melissa and myself are going to be playing in the Sequester Mini along with 15 other RHAP personalities.
Mhm.
So you can watch that. I'm going to put the link in the chat for those of you who don't know how to watch it now. Taryn, I believe you have a birthday on Friday. And,
Yes.
that's why you're not playing, but we wish you a happy birthday.
Yes,
Everybody in
well,
the chat as well.
I had said
You did.
any day works, just not the 3rd.
I posted it on Reddit. It was
Yeah.
my fault. My fault, people. Taryn is not lying. He
Brent
told
got the
me
dates
not
wong,
the 3rd.
and then that was the only day Rob could do it, and
Exactly.
obviously, like you're gonna have Rob play, but yeah, people are still like what are you doing? Like let me live my life.
Let him live his life. Exactly.
I make myself available for podcasts. My entire life is subject to it. I have one thing. I say one day that I can't do it. So let me live my
dreidel
life.
song.
No, Taryn, we need 100% availability. Sorry.
At all
It's like you're
times.
not dedicated, honestly.
I'm curious if you know where One Dreidel Song is from. Do you know what movie that's from?
No.
One Dreidel Song. You know, it's from Beaches. I'm sorry. I thought maybe you would
okay.
know. You're a little too straight for that.
Is it like complaining about all the number of Christmas songs in one Hanukkah
Yes,
song?
yes, she
I understood the
"One more
context,
song."
but not the.
She's like,
the
I sing all
placement.
those Dreidel songs for you. One Dreidel song.
But yeah, so Taryn, I mean, honestly, even if a Big Brother season is over, you should be committed to podcasting every day. It's just
Yeah,
it's unacceptable.
Yeah, it's really not cool, and it reflects poorly on RHAP,
Yeah. Well, I'm very excited to that there will be a way to watch this after the fact, right? It's meant to be watched live.
Yeah, it's meant to be watched live. We're working on it. Yeah.
And I will definitely talk about it. I will be the official coverage person. I will be your Sequester Mini
He's
live
like
feed updater.
the old man in the Muppets who's sitting there making fun of all of us. That's what he's going to be.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the impressions personally.
There you go. So that should be fun.
Thank
Everyone should check it out. I hope you guys. I wish you guys luck.
you.
Some of you in particular. I will not give my thoughts prior to the thing. I don't want to influence anybody.
It's gonna be such a mess. It's gonna be such a fun mess, hopefully, but it's gonna be such a mess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. So there we have it. We will be back Thursday night, because tomorrow night the final episode of Big Brother Canada is going to air, and it's gonna be sad.
Yeah.
Sad.
We saw that. If you didn't see the preview on Twitter, they are going to. I don't know what they're going to do. I guess we're going to see all the stuff. Like, for once, they're going to show us everything. They're going to show us them talking to them, telling them the season's canceled, them realizing that it's literally done, and there's it's not a joke, because I'm sure that's what. Like, remember on Big Brother Canada, they do these tasks and whatnot. So I can see them thinking that. Even if they say this is not a task, this is a task, right?
It's not a joke of a speech.
I would not believe it until people start walking in. I'd be very cautious if I was a player on Big Brother Canada.
Yeah. So we're gonna see that tomorrow night, and then Thursday night we will go live at around 9 p.m. Eastern, and we will talk about the end of Big Brother Canada 8. We'll talk about. We'll wonder why they didn't air the results of this simulation on the episode.
Maybe they have an extra 3 hours on the schedule. They could just air this with commercials.
And then hopefully we will be able to get some interviews in as well over the next week or so with some of these people from the Big Brother Canada 8 house. So that's what we got for you. Make sure you stay tuned all throughout the off season. There will be regular off season content coming your way for Big Brother, so stick around for that. Don't worry. Big Brother content's gonna stay in your life, even if US is delayed. Big Brother Canada is canceled. We're gonna stay with you. We're gonna keep a voice in your head that is us, and we won't tell you to do things like Chris does. We won't transform your brain unless you ask us to. So
All right, I got closure on this season now. It ended the way I wanted it to, you know. So like in my head, I'm like, okay, Sheldon won, Big Brother Canada 8, you know.
yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to interview Sheldon.
Right.
So,
Yeah, so
congrats
why
on
did
the
you
win.
choose to remove Chris with the veto twice?
What have
Yeah.
you done with that 100,000?
Can you I just really don't understand what was the logic behind that move, that taking Chris off the block. Like, I get it the first time.
Yeah, but why the second time?
He's gonna
Brooke,
be like,
how did you feel when Sheldon cost you your spot on the show?
Angie, why did you flip Maddie's mattress when you were on the block?
All right, so there we have it. Mike, what are you up to?
A lot. So I am at a Mike Bloom type on Twitter, which is where I pimp out all the random stuff that I'm doing. Still covering Survivor. Actually, just did earlier today a nearly 4-hour podcast with Shannon Gus recapping the finale of Australian Survivor. It's actually very similar, where it was a pretty predictable outcome, but there was still a lot to dig into about the season as a whole, what this means for the players' reputations, and lots of malarkey along the way. So be sure to check that out. Of course, I'm doing the RHAP B&B every week with Liana Boris, and also doing interviews with not the players this season, but the people who played with the players this season, secondhand exit interviews, if you will. Just had a really nice interview with Jonathan Penner about the late, great Yul Kwan in this season of Winners at War. So I encourage people to check that out. Otherwise, I'm covering Lost and Star Trek Picard over on post-show recaps.
That had its I'm sorry to interrupt. That had its season finale, right?
It just
Picard.
did.
How
Yeah.
was it? How did you like the show?
I loved it personally. I
I've
think
heard it's
I have
good.
said that it's the best first season of any Star Trek series. I know that's a low bar to clear, but I think it was, for all its faults, I think it was very well done. So Jess and I have covered that. Josh Wigler and I are doing our Lost podcast every week. I've been doing Westworld stuff as well. And to give a little bit of a tease, for what's to come in the next couple months, what Taryn said about Big Brother, I might be able to say about Survivor, especially for the foreseeable future. So RHAP will be there for you guys no matter what the situation may be, including ridiculous simulations like this. And thank you so much for having me on to help be your guide through, your Sherpa through all of this nonsense.
Yeah. All right. So check all of that out. I will, of course, be doing my Survivor coverage on Thursday as well before the Big Brother Canada podcast. So check that out. Yeah, just stay tuned. We've got stuff coming your way. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Taryn Armstrong. Brent and I will probably be on there to give you some like tips on how to watch the upcoming Sequester mini, as well as talk about the first time that he played, and maybe what he learned. I don't know.
Basically, like how the show works. A lot of people don't even understand. Like, I don't even. I have people that are contacting me going, I don't know what the hell's going on. So like, yeah, I'm just there to help you understand the basic premise of the show, what's going to be happening, what can happen, and how you watch it.
Yeah. You can find Brent on Twitter at OneLuckyGay. You can find Melissa at It's Melissa with 3 A's. And I'm, of course, on Twitter at ArmstrongTaryn. That's what we have for you. Thank you. And we'll see you soon.